I apologize for being 1 minute late. What can I say? I don't know what to tell you. Guys, it happens from time to time. It was precisely 7:01 when I hit the go live button. Appreciate it. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. We have a fantastic show for you guys lined up tonight. We have some new information. We have some breaking news that you'll only find here. No one else has reported what we're going to report tonight regarding the Harrison Smith tweet. So, guys, sit tight. Sit tight. We've got an update on a FOIA request that was filed, and it was denied, but we will give you an idea of why it was denied. And I have an opening statement today that is a little long, but I think it is one of the best I've ever put together. If I do say so myself, I don't want to be accused of being unhumble, but I think it's pretty good. I think it's really pretty good. So as you make your way in, go ahead and comfortably hit the like button. That will help you. That will help you not be tardy on the likes. Now, YouTube is totally screwed up the back end. I don't know if any of the other creators have commented on this, but there was a page I used to use to monitor your compliance with likes, and they've broken it. They've updated it, and it's terrible. I hope they go back to the old one. I wish they would give me an excuse to go, or an offer to go back to the old one. Let me explain a couple of things right out of the gate. We're going to break news tonight on a follow-up of a story that's been bothering me since last August. Almost a year. Because last August, Harrison Smith reported that Charlie Kirk told a trusted confidant of Charlie's. That trusted confidant told a friend of his who told Harrison Smith that Ferris Bueller was sick. No. That Charlie feared Israel would kill him if he ever turned against them. It was a weird thing to say. And there was a long time where we just wondered, who are these people? Who's Harrison Smith talking to? Who would Charlie have told this to? Well, I've learned who that was. I'm not going to report the names, but I will tell you a little bit about them just to kind of give you an idea of the credibility of the source, and tell you what follow-up was done. Because you would think, as I thought, well, this is pretty compelling information because, in fact, Charlie did die. He was killed. He was taken down September 10th, 2025. Surely law enforcement wants to get to the bottom of a tweet or a text message that Charlie Kirk sent where he said, I'm afraid someone's going to kill me. And it had specificity. I'm afraid these people are going to kill me if I do this particular action. And then he kind of did that particular action and then died the next day. That's a pretty compelling case, right? If someone's wife said, I'm afraid my husband's going to kill me if I burn the toast again, and then the night before she dies, she burnt the toast, you would say, well, did the husband kill her over the burnt toast? I don't know. I mean, it kind of makes sense. One would expect that it would at least be evaluated by law enforcement, but no, not at all. Not at all. I will report the follow-up. I'll give you an idea of who the players were without naming names. And we'll get to that. The other thing we want to talk about is the FOIA request that we filed that was denied. And it's the basis of the denial that gives the game away. The basis of the denial gives the game away. Will there be an appeal? Of course there will be an appeal. Will there be a lawsuit if they deny the appeal? Of course there will be a lawsuit if they deny the appeal, because this is a very important piece of information that could be key to figuring out who killed Charlie Kirk, how, and why. Might be totally unrelated. We'll find out, but we can't find out unless they give us the documents. So buckle up, sit to. I will warn you. If you have a cap and gown handy, you will need it tonight. This is a cap and gown night when we get to that section. It's not a cap and gown night through the opening statement. It's not a cap and gown night through the Harrison Smith story. But when we get to the FOIA request, we're going to be doing some legal research. We're going to be doing some legal explanations. We're going to be doing some distinctions on legal issues. And you're going to need a cap and you're going to need a gown. You will not need your whole seat. You never need your whole seat with this program. You just need the front edge. So I hope you're comfortable. I want to get right into the opening statement because it is not short. I normally try to keep these opening statements when I'm writing them to, 1,000 words, 1,200 words. I won't even tell you how many words this clocked in at. I will tell you I type very fast. I don't type as fast as I used to. I used to hit upwards of 100 plus words a minute. I'm not there anymore, but I'm 85 plus words a minute, and I was typing every bit of that while I was writing this out. So let me get into this. Because this is, I think, one of the more consequential, or at least more explanatory opening statements I've given relative to the Charlie Kirk case. So, with your permission. Oh, okay. I have your permission. So this is your opening statement. It's becoming increasingly obvious to nearly everyone who looks carefully at the Charlie Kirk investigation. Something is incredibly off. Even if you don't buy the official narrative, there are a number of things that just don't sit well with normal thinking people. Who literally digs up a crime scene 3 days after a shooting and without a contractor in place yet to pave over it once it's dug up? And for that matter, who paves over a crime scene at all? Especially just 4 days after a high-profile political assassination on a Sunday in Utah. We're told that order came from the FBI and the governor of Utah. Since when do governors and the Federal Bureau of Investigation make beautification decisions on college campuses? And since when do they demand them so urgently after making them? This is, of course, not the only anomaly in the Charlie Kirk investigation. There are others. For example, 30-06s are not stopped by 3 inches of soft neck tissue. They're just not. I don't care who tells you they are not. You don't have to be a firearms expert to know that. Even some of the most strident supporters of the theory that Tyler Robinson acted alone, those people once plainly accepted this fact at face value. The wound certainly doesn't look, and it did not act like any 30-06 wound in the history of marksmanship. That much is blatantly obvious. But it's not just the covering up of the crime scene and the impossibility of the wound having come from a 30-06. While most platforms now censor any display of the moment Charlie Kirk was struck, there are still a number of videos floating around out there. They're on X, they're on Rumble, they're on other platforms. And what they show is striking. At the moment of impact, supposedly by a single round to Charlie's neck, nearly everything on Charlie's body seems to react instantly to something that very clearly is not a single rifle round to the neck. The microphone under Charlie's shirt instantly starts to move from his right collarbone towards the center of his neck. Something under his shirt, originating from the middle of his thorax, rapidly and powerfully rises towards the left side of his neck. It's not loose t-shirt fabric that's rising. It's a structured mass. It's a solid object of some sort. At the exact same time, footage from Charlie's side shows his shirt blow back off his neck several inches as if air is gushing out of it. As does his right shirt sleeve expands as if air is gushing out of it. And while both of those things are happening, the hair on the back of his head, down where his head meets his neck, is blown up and out as if air is gushing past it. I can't positively tell you what caused all of that to happen, air gushing this way and that way. But what I can say is that does not happen with a single rifle round to the neck. It just does not do that. Rifle rounds don't cause those types of movements. There's also the absence of an ambulance at an event on a college campus that hosted more than 3,000 people. There was the refusal of help from 2 medical professionals who were on the scene with medical bags, offering their expertise as Charlie Kirk was being loaded into a car. There's the fact that Charlie was loaded into a car at all, considering a giant gaping neck wound. And then there are the pictures of Charlie being carried to that car with his head and neck literally dangling and flopping as they carried him. Oh, in that SUV they carried him to? The one that transported a dead body from a crime scene? It was cleaned. It was refurbished. It was sold. The hospital they took him to? No camera footage available. It was confiscated by the FBI. There was that old man, George Zen, the political activist and allegedly interested in illegal images of minors. He jumped up nearly immediately after Charlie went down. You remember him. His pants fell down. He was waving his hands and his hat saying he did it. The very few officers present that day, they responded to him. They secured him. They escorted him out of the way. Of course, that left the rest of the place unattended by officers at a time when anyone involved in the crime could have been exfiltrating. There was that guy who was detained going hospital to hospital, allegedly armed and allegedly looking for Charlie. He was described on police scanner traffic. His name was given. A description of his car was given. Turns out he's the son of a Navy 06 intel officer who runs a defense contractor and who had previously worked for DynCorp in the Middle East and North Africa. His brother's a Green Beret in the National Guard. Speaking of police scanner traffic, there were policemen on the scanner reporting that people were hanging out of the SUV as it sped to the hospital. One officer said it looked like a struggle was taking place. We don't have any dash cam footage and haven't heard from those officers since that police scanner transmission. There was the jet that took off from a local airport shortly after Charlie went down. It turned off its transponder, remember? It flew without tracking for a few hours and then returned to Provo? Probably nothing. There was Brian Harple telling how he was directing hospital staff and cutting off Charlie's shirt while perched across Charlie on a hospital stretcher. There was Frank Turek telling one podcast his phone was on FaceTime with his family from the time Charlie Kirk went down during the entire duration of his stay at the hospital and until he got back to his hotel room later that evening. That's some battery, and that's some telephone connection. Of course, he told a different podcaster that he actually had made at least one phone call from the hospital. And we're still unclear how he was able to make a phone call while his phone was on FaceTime with his family. Unfortunately, Frank Turek has not bothered to clear that up. Nor has he cleared up why he didn't notice his phone was on FaceTime when he was changing into scrubs from his clothes. His clothes, presumably, where his phone was in his pocket. Nor are we clear why the hospital was handing out scrubs to members of Charlie's security team. Speaking of phone calls, Pastor Jack Hibbs told Fox News that his brother Butch Hibbs called him from the crime scene in the immediate aftermath of Charlie going down. Pastor Jack is quoted in the article describing the chaos in the background as his brother updated him. Pastor Jack must have forgotten about that call because Pastor Jack later told Frank Turek on a podcast that he couldn't remember if it was Frank Turek or Mikey McCoy who first called him. He never mentioned his brother. He couldn't remember whether it was Frank or Mikey. Thankfully, Frank Turek was there to remind Pastor Jack that it was in fact Mikey McCoy who first called Pastor Jack. Frank didn't call him later until he called him from the hospital with his phone, maybe still not, on FaceTime with his family. It's all very confusing. There were also those mysterious text messages from the night before Charlie died about clearing the roof above Charlie, which just so happened to make sure there were no audience members who would be positioned where someone on the Losi Center could be seen. There was the officer who was cited in the probable cause affidavit saying he ran straight to the Losi Center roof because he said it looked like a good perch for a sniper. Not sure why, of all the roofs that would have made good perches for snipers, he chose the Losi Center roof, but that's where he went. Not sure why he picked the farthest roof with visibility to Charlie and just happened to be correct. UVU officers are very sharp officers, I suppose. They're the pictures the FBI released of the alleged shooter walking to the scene of the crime, looking quite unlike Tyler Robinson. But I suppose that's subjective. What's not subjective is that he was seen a few minutes earlier limping down the road, supposedly because he had a gun down his jeans, and that prevented his leg from bending. But when he's seen on camera just a few minutes later, both knees are bending just fine as he ascends and descends stairs on campus. No gun appears to be stuffed down his skinny jeans. And these are jeans so tight you can see the clear outline of his telephone in his pocket as he bends his knees to walk the stairs. Within minutes of allegedly pulling off the greatest political assassination in decades, there's footage of what appears to be Tyler Robinson's car hanging out in a shopping center parking lot. According to the arrest affidavit, it was in that parking lot that he punched in the address of a local car wash on Google Maps. Because who doesn't want a clean getaway car? It must have slipped his mind before the big day. He's seen on camera at a Dairy Queen 5 or 6 hours later. holding what looks like a blizzard and a box of chicken tendies. That's, of course, before he takes off for a steakhouse 3 hours away. He drives 3 hours south where he's seen eating a ribeye and a potato in Panguitch. He's identified by servers who recognized him and confirmed it was him using his credit card receipt. At this point, he's an hour or so from home. It's after 9 p.m. Charlie's been dead around 7 or 8 hours, but Tyler doesn't go home, at least not according to the search warrants. The search warrants place him back in Orem, Utah, near the place where the gun is found. They say he arrived around 12:30 a.m. and left around 1:15 a.m. He made sure to park his car in front of a Ring doorbell camera for good measure. Did I call his Dodge Challenger a car? I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. That won't happen again. I meant vehicle. And we know he prefers to call it a vehicle because over the course of several hours, he allegedly texted a conversation that amounted to a confession to nearly every single detail of the crime. He started by texting saying he intended to take the secret to his grave. But first, he made sure to leave a handwritten note confession under his keyboard back at the house. That note, by the way, doesn't exist. Tyler told his roommate to get rid of it, and his roommate did, in fact, get rid of it. He burned it. But before burning it, he made sure to take a picture of it. It's noteworthy that a picture can't be tested for pesky things like DNA and fingerprints. They also can't be tested for ink types, pressure points when writing, or anything else that might have indicated who actually wrote the note. Not content with confessing in the letter that was preserved by picture before it was destroyed, Tyler Robinson also texted a series of confessions. He admitted to planning the crime for about a week, using his grandfather's rifle, stashing his grandfather's rifle, the type of scope on his stashed rifle, the rifle being stashed with a towel around it, returning to find his grandfather's rifle, being motivated by Charlie's hate, being late returning home to their shared townhome, engraving memes on the rifle shells, his dad being super MAGA, some Trump one, and more. Oh, and he also texted his intent to go out on his own terms after calling police to a location so he wouldn't get dragged through the courts on television. But he wasn't content with that. No, that wasn't enough confessing for one day. He wasn't content to confess in a handwritten note. He wasn't content to confess in a series of texts to the person he confessed to in the handwritten note. He then took to Discord to record his confession for all of eternity to anyone with a link to the Discord chat. There, Tyler Robinson confessed to being responsible and told his friends goodbye and thanks for the good times. After that, he arranged through family to turn himself in, only to, at that time, assert his Fifth Amendment rights to silence and assistance of counsel, and we've not heard from him since. These are, believe it or not, the only weird facts surrounding the day Charlie Kirk was taken out. These are just a sampling of them. And there are people, I kid you not, who look at all those weird things and say, yep, Tyler Robinson did it, beyond a reasonable doubt, fry him. And that's weird to me. I don't see how anyone can look at any of that and think it's an open and shut case. I don't see how anyone close to Charlie Kirk can look at all of that and ignore it and demand people accept the Tyler alone narrative. But I want you to consider Tyler Robinson. A lot has been made about Tyler Robinson turning himself in. I want to propose a hypothetical situation and ask what you would do in that situation. Ignore Tyler Robinson, ignore Charlie Kirk, ignore the politics surrounding this case, ignore the 9 months of investigation. Just imagine yourself in the following scenario. You live with Lance Twiggs. You guys play video games, Magic the Gathering. And there are people in and out of the house all the time, and they play video games, and they play Magic the Gathering. You're in your early 20s. You're young, you're impressionable. And a group of people start coming around the house. Your roommate seems fine with them hanging around. It is, after all, his townhome, so how much can you do about it? One day they're meeting up in Orem and ask you to go with them. It's a college town a few hours away. You're young. You take the day off of work and head up there. You get up there in the morning and look for them to meet up, and you head to where they said to meet. Just assume, for the sake of argument, you're at least aware a crime has been planned. Just insert that fact. While you're there, Charlie Kirk is shot. You're told to meet here, so you head over there. Oh, no, not here. Meet over there. So you head over there. And while the day ticks away, you check your messages and notice at a certain point that there are text messages being sent from your account, and you didn't send them. Maybe someone has access to your computer. Maybe they have access to your watch or anything that has your account logged in. Anyone with an iPhone knows how that works. You can text from my computer. You can text from my phone. The person on the other end doesn't see where it came from. You just get the message, and the message is copied to all the devices. They're all synced together by a common account. You realize this is happening, and you start reading through the messages, and now you really understand what's going on. You're being framed. You start to panic. But who can you call? Your phone has messages confessing to the crime. And you yourself were at or near the scene of the crime. You're hours from home. You don't even know the real names of the guys you were supposed to meet up there. It's not like you checked their IDs when they came by the house to play Magic the Gathering. Then you realize something in the text messages, something dark. You realize the text messages are setting you up to die. You read a text message that says, you're going to lead the police to a location and go out on your own terms. So you call the only people on earth who might possibly believe you. They're the people who have been with you your entire life. Your mom and dad. You go meet mom and dad, but you don't quite know what to say. You don't know if they'll believe you, but you know they don't want you to die. And you know they'll do anything to help you stay alive. Dad has a plan. Dad calls a family friend. He's a former pastor at the local parish who is a retired sheriff's deputy. He's reputable. He wore the cloth. He wore the badge. If anyone can keep you alive, this guy may be our only hope. The former pastor and retired deputy sheriff shows up and personally escorts you to the jail. It's the one place he knows you aren't going to die in a shootout with police. He used to work there, so he vouches for you. They know him. There are no guarantees in life, but you're safer there than anywhere else right in this moment. You're no longer on the run. You're not going to be shot by cops, and you're not going to be shot by anybody else while you're in there. Your family is given strict instructions to shut their mouths, talk to nobody. It's unclear at this time, in that moment, how high up this goes. They don't know who's involved. It's impossible to know. But anyone who can orchestrate what your son just described is not working alone, and they certainly have resources in high places. They can and will kill you to protect themselves. Is this what happened? I don't know. But it's more likely to me than believing that all that weird stuff is just random weird stuff. The verbose texts, the changing stories, the weird injury at the moment Charlie dies, the shirt and body movement, the stuffing Charlie in an SUV, the getting rid of the SUV, the covering up the crime scene, the paving over the crime scene, the involvement at the highest levels of government. All of that stuff is harder for me to believe than a guy getting framed, then being scared for his life, and then turning himself in, and then everyone remaining silent until the courts can get a chance to review everything. Is Tyler innocent? I don't know. But that's not the standard. That's not Tyler's burden. The question at this time, based on the charges he's facing today, is whether he alone planned and executed Charlie Kirk with a .30-06 from the Losi Center roof, and whether that can be proved beyond a reasonable doubt. That's called being found not guilty. That's not innocent. That's not guilty. Can they prove that? As to that part, at least for now, there's just too much weirdness in this case for me to conclude anything other than Tyler Robinson at this point in time is not guilty of that charge. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your opening statement. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I had to get that off my chest. This case is so dark, so involved. Charlie himself suggested that the Butler case might have involved dozens of people, including law enforcement officers. I think this case does as well. I think this case does as well. Now, I want to introduce you to something. We're going to move on quickly because we got a lot to cover tonight. On August 13th, about 27 or so days before Charlie Kirk passed away, Harrison Smith, who writes for InfoWars, or did write for InfoWars when InfoWars existed. I think now he's with Alex Jones Live, which is basically the intellectual firepower of InfoWars. Harrison Smith put up the following tweet. It became absolutely must-see tweeting after Charlie Kirk passed away. Notice the date here, August 13, 2025. Here is Harrison Smith. I'm not going to name names, but I was told by someone close to Charlie Kirk that Charlie thinks Israel will kill him if he turns against them. Notice he wasn't concerned about the trans community or the gay community. Charlie did not say to this alleged source that I'm afraid the furries are going to kill me if I turn against them. It's not who he was scared of. Charlie thinks Israel will kill him if he turns against them. Well, we had a follow-up because there was a lot of scandal involved in that tweet. A lot of people were very upset with Harrison Smith that he had not gone to law enforcement, had not taken that to law enforcement, or at least had not revealed the source. Instead, Harrison Smith said, well, if law enforcement wants it, they can contact me. In either, I think, late December, Candace Owens hosted an X space. I don't know if you know what that is, but on an X space, different people can grab the microphone. So she hosts, and a number of other people were allowed to chime in. I can't remember who all talked that night. I know Harrison was one of them. And someone else chimed in to say, hey, Harrison, about that tweet, don't you think that that should be looked into? And he said, well, the feds have never called me about it. And he said, well, who sent it to you? He said, I'm not going to tell you. And they said, well, will you at least contact law enforcement and let them know about it? And he, yeah, okay. Well, shortly after that X space, Harrison Smith had a follow-up. He took to InfoWars to say the following. This was on December 31st, New Year's Eve.
Actually look into something before you make the claim, which I think is sort of the ground floor of this whole frustration. Yes, I am the one that said Charlie Kirk was afraid Israel was going to kill him. I reiterated it again in an interview with Jake Shields about 2 weeks before Charlie was killed. And, since then, the FBI I've actually made contact with somebody from this morning. Somebody reached out to me and wanted to know who the source was. And so I helped connect them. So everybody going, why, if you really heard this, which of course I did, how would I have tweeted that out a month before the assassination? Like, how would I have had that?
Well, that's because you work for Mossad.
Right.
Obviously, Alex is being facetious there at the end, but it's a good question. So, and we all thought that was that. But it's been bugging me ever since that statement, because now we are 6 months or so after Harrison Smith gave that update and said, a member of the FBI reached out to me this morning. That was December 31st. A member of the FBI reached out to me, and I was able to connect them with the source. In other words, I told them who the source was, and I gave them their contact information. I have an update. I cannot tell you the names of these people, but I'll give you kind of people they are. The person Charlie Kirk shared the text message with was someone very closely connected to TPUSA. This was not a random person. This was not like a reporter. This was not some random friend of his. This is someone who is very highly regarded and very highly connected to TPUSA. That person received that text message. I'm afraid Israel's going to kill me if I turn against them. That person shows the text message to a friend of his. That person is the head of a large nonprofit, we'll call it. It's a respectable person who's known. That was Harrison Smith's source. So I keep following up on this, and I keep trying to figure out, did the FBI ever contact these people? Well, I finally caught up with someone who would know. And what I heard shocked me, because I could not believe a scenario where this is what I was going to hear. But I asked very bluntly, as many ways as I could ask it, hey, man, that Harrison Smith tweet, did they ever follow up on that? Did the FBI ever reach out to the source? And the answer was no. I said, well, what about local law enforcement? No. What about Utah law enforcement? No. Nobody reached out to the source? No. Did anybody reach out to the original person who received it? No. Those are the facts that I received. Nobody received it. Nobody received a call from the FBI. It's almost as if the FBI just wanted to know who it was that was in possession of this text. And I find that tragic. I believe this source. This source is someone who would know. I absolutely believe this source. And I even told him, I said, look, I don't want to report this and then get burned by you guys coming out and saying, no, the FBI called me the next day. Everything's good. Misunderstanding. He said, I'm very confident that's not going to happen. That there's been expressions of frustration that the FBI, local law enforcement, no law enforcement person ever reached out to me. I think that's shocking. And I think it goes towards exactly what Charlie was talking about with the Butler assassination. If you remember, he did that walk and talk video where he said, I think this is corrupt. I don't think is what it is on its face. I think this is a cover-up. I think it's a cover-up potentially involving dozens of people in law enforcement. Yeah. I'm starting to believe that as well. There's no explanation for me why a text Charlie sent someone connected very highly at TPUSA, very highly regarded, still to this day highly regarded, not like a disaffected person. And I was told this source wants to come forward and is scared. I encourage him to come forward. But I think it's something that has to be solved. I don't know why Charlie Kirk would have sent a text message saying, I think particular people are going to kill me, and no one from law enforcement would reach out and say, why do you think he said that? Did you have any other conversations with him? What did he say? Did you follow up with him? Do you have a phone call with him? Why did he think to reach out to you and tell you that? What did he told you in the past? Were there any other conversations? I mean, why would you not talk to somebody like that? If you're really trying to run down every lead, why not talk to somebody like that? And think about someone like Joe Kent, who says, yeah, there were verifiable tips that there could have been foreign involvement and I wasn't allowed to pursue them. I think this is a pretty verifiable tip. Why would Charlie Kirk think that? Why would he at least think to make someone else think that he thought that? And that's the nature of the tweet. I think this, or at least I want that person to think I think this. Well, why? Follow up with it. It's unacceptable. Totally and wholly unacceptable. So that's the update. That's the update on Harrison Smith. Now, I want to go to a FOIA request. I need you to don your cap and gown here. It's going to get thick. We're going to do some educating tonight. I want to go to a FOIA request that was denied. And normally when a FOIA request is denied, you think, that wasn't very helpful. But this one was pretty helpful. There was a line in the FOIA request that was pretty doggone helpful, and we're going to talk about why and what it might mean. I'll tell you what the FOIA request was about. It was about the SAM 702 flight. It was initially a reach flight. It was a reach flight from Camp Springs or Joint Base Andrews to Colorado Springs. It remained a reach flight flying under a reach call sign, meaning it's just not necessarily carrying someone super high ranking, or at least if they're doing it, they're doing it under the cover of darkness. It remained a reach flight from Colorado Springs to Tucson, or maybe it changed there. Actually, I've got it pulled up right here. I'll look. Can't remember if it changed in Tucson or it changed in Colorado Springs, but I'll look real fast. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, fresh and breezy here. Yeah, it remained a reach 702 from Colorado Springs to Tucson. It remained a reach from Tucson to Fort Huachuca, where it changed into a SAM, Special Air Mission call sign, SAM 702, and it remained 702 when it flew out of Fort Huachuca the next day to El Paso and then on to Joint Base Andrews. That's the nature of what the FOIA request was about. You got to keep in mind what Fort Huachuca is. It is the main intelligence base that we're looking at here. Colorado Springs. What is Colorado Springs? Colorado Springs is a major command center for North America. These are big bases with huge consequences for intelligence and military command. I'm going to show you a copy of the denial, and then we're going to go through it a little bit. Because the denial has in it what was requested. So this is dated today, June 24. If you're watching on replay, this is today. This is June 24, 2026. The Freedom of Information Office at Joint Base Andrews. This responds to your December 29 FOIA request, which seeks copies of the following records from tail number 990404. That's the plane. For the period September 7 through September 9. This is what was asked for. Passenger manifests. This would be who's flying on the plane for the different stops. Mission flight records. This is the flight logs that includes takeoff and landing times and mission symbols. The mission purpose. This is the documented itinerary, the narrative that describes the official purpose of these flights. The call sign documentation. How did the call signs get applied? Why were they changed? And then a description of the records. This is a C-37A. That's going to be very important in just a minute. When we get into the meat of tonight, the fact that this plane is classified as a C-37A, all that means is it's a Gulfstream 5. It's like the plane Erica flies around in all over the place. Not a cheap plane to fly around in, but in terms of high brass in the U.S. government, it's on the cheaper side. You know, it's not a 747. It's not a 767. It's a Gulfstream. It's operated by the 89th Airlift Wing, and that will become important in just a second. And the 89th Airlift Wing we'll talk about is the airlift wing that operates these SAM missions. SAM missions are special airlift missions, special air missions that the president or the high-ranking members of the president's cabinet or foreign dignitaries, these are the types of planes they fly on. That's who's given a SAM call sign. So that gives you a background of what was requested. I don't want to go too far into it right now, but that's a background of what was requested. So there's a denial, a complete denial. Not we're going to give you redacted information. Not we need more time. It's already been 6 months. It's 9 months after the flight was taken, 6 months after the flight, after the request was made. But it's an outright denial, which is very unusual in government records. And the denial is based on two things. Number one, the denial declares that all DoD aircraft flight data is exempt from public disclosure. I'll show you that. It says it's exempt from public disclosure. Did we put it on here? No, I'll click over to the other one. So we'll get to that in a second. That's under, they claim that's under this here. The second basis of the denial is that the Presidential Airlift Group was designated as the office primarily responsible for the request. And it was denied at their discretion, the Presidential Airlift Group. So let's go through this real quickly. This right here, this citation at the top of the page, if you pull this citation, the DoD Manual 5400.07, Air Force Manual 33-302, this is improperly cited as paragraph C217. That's not the citation, but we were able to locate the actual citation. The only thing this says is if someone requests something, you got to give it to them. Now, you got to give it to them. Now, there are some exceptions to that. And the exception is the one they cited. That's this second yellow highlighted thing right here. This is for critical infrastructure security information. that according to this Title V U.S. Code Section 552B3, that they can exempt anything that is Department of War critical infrastructure. Now, you don't have to use common sense to know that a flight manifest is not critical infrastructure. It's not a base. It's not a radar system. It's not an airplane itself. It's not a telephone. It's not critical infrastructure. It's not a communication system. It's a piece of paper. The piece of paper that tells you who's on a plane. That's it. And so I think this was improperly denied based on that code section. They might have had some basis for denying it, but that's not the right way to do it. That's not the right code section right there. But that's not the part that really raised red flags in this. The part that raised red flags is this spot highlighted in yellow. And this is where things get really interesting. And this is where you're really going to have to stay with your humble host and pay attention as we go through this. Because it says the final determination is a complete denial. Not we're working on it. It's a complete denial. While similar records have been released in the past, meaning, at least in the past, they determined these legally had to be released, future requests will not be granted at the discretion of the Presidential Airlift Group. The Presidential Airlift Group, remember, our request went to the 89th. And I'm going to explain to you the difference between these. And if you follow with me, you're going to understand why this is so important. This is going to get really interesting. So we requested through the 89th Airlift Wing. Why did we request through the 89th Airlift Wing? The 89th Airlift Wing is who operates SAM flights. SAM flights. You'll notice that it's got over 1,000 personnel. It provides global special air mission, airlift. This is all they do is fly planes. This is the 89th Airlift Wing. They do it tasked by the White House, the Chief of the Staff of the Air Force, and Air Mobility Command. It's made up of 3 groups. You have the 89th Maintenance Group, you have the 89th Operation Group, and you have the Presidential Airlift Group. Now, these numbers beside it, they mean something. The 89th Operations Group operates the Airlift Squadron, the first Airlift Squadron, the C-32, which is this plane here. That's the plane the Vice President typically flies. The President of the United States sometimes flies on this plane, but if so, it is designated Air Force One. Typically, this is designated Air Force Two. This is J.D. Vance's plane, primarily. Then you have the C-40. This is just a military transport plane. So that's who runs the Air Force Two plane, the first Airlift Squadron. Then you have the 99th Airlift Squadron. They run the C-37. That's the plane we're looking at. This is 990404. This is the plane Pete Hegseth flies on. This is the plane that Pam Bondi used to fly on when she worked there. This is the plane Tulsi Gabbard flew on when she worked there. This is the C-37. This is a Gulfstream 5, and it's operated by the 99th. The Presidential Airlift Group is only primarily responsible for one plane, and that's the VC-25. That's Air Force One. That's the President of the United States. Sometimes that's the First Lady or the First Family. It's almost no one else. It's almost no one else. Remember, First Airlift, Vice President. 99th, Cabinet officials. Presidential Airlift Group, President, because it's aptly titled the Presidential Airlift Group. That's the VC-25. So let's roll back through some of this. There's 2 things you have to understand here. That distinction between the 99th Airlift and the Presidential Airlift Group is not arbitrary. When a general or a senator or a cabinet secretary or a visiting foreign dignitary or a senior government official needs a flight, they fly on that C-37. They fly on that C-37, and they fly from the 89th. Or excuse me, from the 99th. These operate under SAM call signs. And so the plane we requested records for was plane 990404. This is a C-37, like you see on your screen there. And that's a 99th Squadron aircraft. These are very routine flights. These are unclassified flights. These are historically almost always released under FOIA when you ask for their records. Who was on the plane? Where were they going? These are very routine FOIA requests, and they're very routinely granted. They do have some standard privacy redactions when you get your thing back, but they're handled directly through the 99th. But if you go back to our denial, it doesn't say that the 99th is who has discretion over these particular records. These particular records that we requested will not be granted because of the discretion of the Presidential Airlift Group. That is a different group. That's a different command. That's a different structure. That's a different organization. They're all part of the 89th, but the 99th and the PAG are two different entities. So let's look real quickly at the PAG. This is the VC-25. Says this aircraft are operated and maintained by the Presidential Aircraft Group, assigned to Air Mobility Command. So they're part of the 89th at Joint Base Andrews, but they have the unique mission of presidential travel, upholding the proud tradition and distinction of being known as Air Force One. That's the Presidential Airlift Group. Now, is it possible that someone who ordinarily flies under the Presidential Air Force Group might use another plane? Sure. Vice President Harris one time flew on a C-37. Normally that would be a SAM flight under the 99th. But she flew instead on a C-37. Joe Biden once flew on a C-37. They typically do this when they want to stay low profile, or they're flying into a place with a very small footprint, a very small Air Force airbase footprint. So they don't have the 1.5 or 2 mile long air runway that's required to stop Air Force One or one of the large planes. So they actually fly on a smaller plane just for convenience. It's happened before, but if you don't want to take a highly recognizable aircraft into a particular area, you might fly on a C-37. But when you're talking Presidential Airlift Group, you're talking support for presidential transport. You're talking White House advance teams. A White House advance team are people who go out in advance of a White House visit. So if the President of the United States is showing up in Nashville, he's going to speak at the convention center. They don't just show up the day of and say, where's the men's room? No, they send an advance team out. They go out in advance. They check out the security, the lay of the land. They look for infill and exfil routes. They know where the hospital is. They get in touch with certain emergency communications. They get in touch with the local highway patrol to know how do we shut down the interstate when the time comes. They look at where helicopter pads are in case they need to do a quick evacuation by helicopter. They look at locations where snipers can be posted. They go ahead and sweep the facility for bombs. They bring in bomb dogs. They bring in all kinds of stuff. This is one of the missions of the Presidential Airlift Group, a White House advance team. We can be sure that the White House advance team was not at Fort Huachuca. That would not be something they would do. So we can rule that out. That's one of the 3 reasons the PAG flies, and we can rule that one out. The second one is Secret Service coordination. So if the Secret Service has to go out for whatever reason and do something related to presidential duties, they will fly under the PAG. The PAG will take care of that. The Presidential Airlift Group will get them a plane. Even if it's not the big plane, they'll get them a plane, and they'll be in control of making sure the president's Secret Service or the vice president, or not the vice, the president's Secret Service is here or there, wherever they need to go. Probably not the case in this situation. There's only one other class of people who fly under PAG, and that's special missions directly tasked by a particular office in the executive branch. And that is the White House Military Office. The White House Military Office can task the Presidential Airlift Group to fly missions. You might have heard recently of the White House Military Office. After the president came under attack at the Washington Hilton at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, Candace Owens received an email that was mistakenly sent to too many people, talking within an hour, I think, of the event, talking about the fact that the Erica Kirk video was trending and that the trending Erica Kirk video needed to be promoted because it was the best publicity they had going. That email was sent by the White House Military Office, allegedly. And so you have now involvement of the White House Military Office in an operation, a military operation. It's the military office. This is not a PR office. This is a military office inside the White House that was executing a mission related to Erica Kirk. That email, if it exists, and I'm convinced it does, is evidence of that. The White House Military Office was executing a mission related to Erica Kirk. And the White House Military Office is the only category that fits the Presidential Airlift Group being involved in this flight. It's not the advance team. It's not Secret Service coordination. So it has to be the White House Military Office. This Presidential Airlift Group they don't routinely operate these C-37 aircraft. They don't routinely handle records for SAM flights. That's done by the 99th or the 89th. There's only a few situations. It's only a few situations where the PAG would ever fly a C-37. We talked about the advance team. There's the continuity of government system. And there's the direct White House Military Office. Now, that could be broad. That could be transporting national security advisors. It could be intelligence directors. Could be a low-profile mission using a massive Boeing 747 or 767 would be very inconvenient. Wouldn't look good. It would draw too much public attention. But the 99th is like flying commercial, right? I mean, it's pretty standard everyday stuff. Like if I jump on a flight and I've got to go to Omaha, or I got to go to Nevada, or I got to go to Chicago, like I'm going to get on and I'm going to look at Delta, I'm going to look at American, I'm going to look at Southwest. Three airlines I use when I fly, and I'm going to figure out which one of them has the best fare, the best times. I'm going to pick it. And that's how I'm going to get there. I'm going to sit on the plane and maybe get a window seat, maybe get an aisle seat. And I'm just going to fly. That's the 99th. That's routine everyday flight. But when you're talking the Presidential Airlift Group, that's like flying private. That is, for us plebes, that's the difference. The PAG is a totally separate ball game. They have different rules. They have different protocols. And here's why it matters. In our denial, it specifically says that the Presidential Airlift Group is the responsible party. And that the Presidential Airlift Group owns and was tasked with that search that we requested. Now, we requested it through the 89th. We did not request it through the Presidential Airlift Group, which means it was internally reassigned to the responsible party, to the party that flew the plane. The 89th didn't fly the plane. The 99th didn't fly the plane. The PAG flew the plane. They were responsible for the records search. They had to search for the records, and they did. We know that. We got email updates when they were searching for them. They had control of the records, meaning they pulled the records into a centralized location to prepare for release. And the Presidential Airlift Group then makes the final determination on whether or not to release the records. They would not do that for a regular SAM flight that flew through the 99th. The 99th would do it. If this was a regular C-37 flight through the 99th, if this was a regular SAM flight, they would have taken care of it. But they didn't. They didn't. On June 17th, this was a week ago, the FOIA office sent an email to us to confirm, quote, your request is with the legal office for QA review, meaning it had been compiled. The only thing they needed to do was determine if the redactions were adequate and if there was any legal reason they couldn't turn it over. Other than that, we're entitled to it. That means the search was already done. The files were already compiled. And they were sitting on a lawyer's desk ready to be released by email to us so that we could share them with you. But something interesting happened in that email. Previous emails were not marked with any classification. Previous emails, like most requests under the 99th, just routine SAM flights, are not classified at all. They get no classification marking whatsoever. But we noticed the email from June 17th all of a sudden retained a classification marking. It was called CUI. This is controlled unclassified information. Controlled unclassified information. This is the first time we've ever encountered this in a FOIA request. We are not amateurs at FOIA requests. This is something we've done a lot. This is highly irregular. You ask for flight information. They either tell you they can give it to you in whole or they have to redact certain portions. And if they redact it, they put a little, code section or some sort of legend over the redaction telling you why they redacted that certain piece of information. Say it had a phone number or an email. No, they would want to redact that. I don't blame them for that. I wouldn't want my phone number and email on the computer any more than it already is. So that doesn't bother me. And they would tell you in the little legend, it's personal information, PII. But never before in the history of FOIA requests have we ever received something that had a classification marking on it. This one did. The emails themselves about this flight were considered controlled, unclassified information. This is a particular marking that falls between public information and classified information. Public information is stuff for which the government is not allowed to hold it from you for any reason whatsoever. It's public. It's, how much did that project cost on the National Mall? $2 million. Here's your documentation. Great. Thank you. Who was at this event? Who checked into this event? Oh, these 9 people were there. Public information. Classified information is there's a statute that exists that says we're not allowed to give you this. It's national security, it's whatever. But sits between these two, between this public information, this public unrestricted information, this classified information, there sits this classification called CUI. It's not very old. They've only been using CUI probably 15 years, maybe, give or take. Before that, it was kind of a Wild West. They had a lot of different ways to try to mark that, and it created some issues. So they came up with a centralized, standardized CUI marking, meaning it's not classified, but we don't want to share it outside of people working on this. So a contractor, an employee within the department who actually has a need to know. But we're not going to share it with the public. There's actually a definition of CUI. It's called information the government creates or possesses, or that an entity creates or possesses for or on behalf of the government that a law, regulation, or government-wide policy requires or permits an agency to handle using safeguarding and dissemination controls. That's the definition of CUI, controlled, unclassified information. So this sudden QA of the records and then a full denial a week later is pretty shocking. You know, when you get a QA of the records, it's pretty much like you're about to get these records. We just got to do one final look-see and make sure everything's okay. But to then have it be a full denial a week later, this indicates that somebody looked at this and said, hell no. Hell no. You're not sending that out. It's something they didn't want to share. And so they just retroactively throw on some inapplicable code section dealing with critical infrastructure when it clearly is not critical infrastructure because they don't have any other reason not to share it other than we really don't want to tell you who was there. We do not want to tell you who was on this plane. This was flying under the Presidential Airlift Group, and we know you know what that means, and we don't want to tell you what it means. We don't want to tell you the consequences of what that means. Remember, in the letter, it said, we have released this information in the past, but future requests will not be granted. Okay, this is the most transparent administration in history. Remember, we were promised that? We're not getting it. Instead, we're getting a giant middle finger. Yeah, we know you're curious about what was going on at Fort Huachuca days before Charlie Kirk was killed, but that's okay. We're not going to tell you anything about it. We're going to throw some hokey statute on there that's totally inapplicable. But we know this. We know that PAG is the one that has custody of these files. We know it's not the 99th. And we know because of that this flight was executing an active, sensitive mission directly coordinated with the White House military office. We know that. It's the only thing that makes sense. There's no other reason PAG flies that would apply to this particular flight. So we don't know what it means for the Charlie Kirk investigation. Like, we can't sit here today and say, because they withheld it, here's what it means. We don't know what it means. But we do know that a flight expected to be operating under normal routine practice, because it was given a SAM 702 and it looked like it was innocuous, it was actually part of a sensitive mission that they don't want to tell you about. This is not a routine meeting at Fort Huachuca. It could not have been a routine meeting at Fort Huachuca. If it was, it would have flown under the 99th. It wouldn't have flown under the White House military office. It wouldn't have flown under the Presidential Airlift Group. Now, unfortunately for them, we have a Daisy. And our Daisy is a bulldog. She claims to be insufferable. I dispute that. You want to use that descriptive for her, but we will appeal it. I think everybody in our audience deserves to know who was on that plane, what it was doing there. I think legally we have a right to know who was on that plane and what it was doing there. And if it's some sort of sensitive mission, then they can redact the documents and they can give us the reasons for the redactions on each line. That would at least let us know how many people were on the plane. It might give us some information. Or it would tell us that they are trying to hide it for whatever reason. But it's a frustrating set of facts. It's a frustrating set of facts. A very, very frustrating set of facts. So what do we learn? We've learned that nothing in this case adds up. Nothing. Nothing in this case adds up. If you went back through all of the facts, looked at all the weird stuff, and I did not mention all the weird stuff in the opening. There was a lot more weird stuff. I just meant, really, honestly, the only weird stuff I mentioned was stuff that I felt like was pretty unassailable. Nobody could listen to that open and say, oh, he's speculating. He's using Candace Owens and her secret sources. I don't think any of that in there was Candace Owens' secret sources. None of it was Baron Coleman's secret sources. All of that was pretty much run-of-the-mill, right down the middle, public information that does not add up. That is so weird, no one can conclude anything about that's normal. And we learned, because I think this is almost as important as the case itself, we learned that in the face of all that weirdness, you still have a group of people on X primarily, but other places, podcasts and other places, who are totally sold out to the Tyler alone narrative. Even though we learned earlier this week that TPUSA themselves don't even believe the Tyler alone narrative. I told you about a conversation with a TPUSA executive. And that executive said, and I hope they don't force my hand to make me release it, because it's actually worse than I portrayed. If I had to release the whole call, it was actually worse. There's things in there I didn't even say. So don't force my hand, TPUSA. Just accept what I've given as fact, and don't come out and say it's not true. Don't send your minions out to say it's not true. You already tried that before I did the show, and I noticed after the show you stopped. It's very smart. But we learned earlier this week, not even TPUSA believes it's Tyler alone. That's not the consensus within TPUSA, or at least it wasn't at the time of that conversation. But you have these bulldogs on social media, on podcasts, that insist Tyler Robinson acted alone, that insist he used a 30-06, that insist that 30-06 wound somehow miraculously stopped in 3 inches of neck tissue, arrived with 3,000 pounds of force and immediately slammed on the brakes to Superman's neck, who insist there's nothing unusual about dragging a man who just got shot in the neck by his shirt and arms, letting his head just sort of dangle. And I have a killer footage that YouTube would take my channel down if I showed you, but a killer picture of Charlie Kirk's head just hanging there dangling. No one is supporting the neck. No one is supporting the wound. Supposedly he had broken vertebrae, and they're just flopping him around on the way to the car. These are not medical professionals. These are meatheads. These are meatheads that go out and play G.I. Joe on the weekends and act like that makes them security professionals. Oh, I can shoot a target while rolling through a barrel. Okay, well, great. Can you spot a guy on a roof? Apparently not. Can you evaluate a text and read it for logical implications and realize the police officer gave you everything you asked for? No, apparently not. So you might be a meathead who can shoot some target while rolling through a barrel in a field on the weekend, and you think that makes you cool. But you can't evaluate a threat and properly protect somebody. You show up to an area where everybody on the team goes, I don't like the looks of this, and you send them out there anyway to die. You can't argue with that fact. Because everyone who commented on it that I heard so far has said it looked bad, that they didn't like the looks of the setup. Frank Turek, I think Mikey McCoy may have said that. Blake Neff said that. Lots of people on the team have said they showed up, they looked around, and I don't like the looks of this place. Let's trot them out there anyway. But in the face of all that, you have these people who just insist that Tyler Robinson did it alone. And I don't believe they believe it. I don't think they're stupid enough to believe it. So you have to ask why. Why are they saying it? Why are Andrew and Blake saying it over and over and over? Why is Erica saying it? Why are people like Gary and Graham saying it? Why is Lisa Knows saying it? Why are all these people out there just repeating this over and over and over in the face of all logical implications to the evidence when you line it up like that? It's because of the consequences of believing something else. The consequences go back to what Charlie said about Butler. It did not look like it was on the up and up. It looked like an inside job. It looked like there were dozens, potentially dozens, plural, dozens, 24 or more people involved, potentially 36 or more. Would you say dozens for just 2 dozen? No, you'd say 2 dozen. You're talking 36, 48, 60. How many dozens was he talking about? Lots of dozens of people involved in cover-up, including law enforcement. And there aren't too many types of entities who can organize that sort of conspiracy, so that sort of cover-up. And we also learned that when there is verifiable evidence that Charlie was worried about his life, from a particular group of people in a particularly identifiable location, that nobody follows up on it. Nobody follows up on it. The FBI rapid response is Johnny on the spot when it comes to fact-checking Candace Owens, a podcaster, on Twitter. They'll fight with her all night one night. No, you blah, blah, blah. I mean, they'll get snarky and argue. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, a cabinet level office, will argue with a podcaster on X. They have time to do that, but they don't have time to pick up the phone to the guy who says, I'm in possession of a tweet, or a text rather, from the decedent, Charlie Kirk, saying that I think those people are going to kill me if I do this particular action. Those people are going to kill me if I turn on Israel. And then did he, in fact, turn on Israel? Like, that's what he said. I think they will kill me if I turn on Israel. And then he turns on Israel, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. You can't turn on someone more than that. That's as turning on as you can do. But they don't follow up with, they call Harrison Smith and say, who has this text? But then they don't call that person and say, show it to me. What else did you guys talk about? A little unusual, right? A little weird. I believe my reporting on that is accurate. And then we learn one of the biggest changes in this case came in mid-December when Candace Owens revealed that there was someone, a guy named Mitch Snow, who said he thought he saw Erica Kirk at Fort Huachuca. And he came forward and he was trashed. He was savaged by fellow Green Berets, by just everybody who supports TPUSA. Everybody in the media came all together. And that's when the media kind of turned on Candace. That's when it became Candace isn't wrong. She's evil. She's torturing a widow. Well, that's weird. Sounds like she's trying to figure out where the widow was. And so if someone identifies a flight in and out of there, we immediately send a request and say, who was on that flight? And they sit on it for 6 months. It takes them 6 months to respond to that request. And when we get it back, it says, we can't give it to you because the Presidential Airlift Group, who's primarily responsible for getting you this information, has declined your offer, has declined your request. And you look at what the Presidential Airlift Group does, and it doesn't make sense. Like, it's so far from anything we thought we would get back. Like, we thought, okay, is the Department of Defense there? Was this Pete Hegseth on that plane? Was it Bradley Hansel on that plane? Like, who was on this plane? What were they doing? Were they operating at the direction of the Department of Defense? Were they operating at the direction of Secretary of State? Were they operating at the direction of the Air Force? Were they operating at who were they operating at the direction of? Because all of those would have been a different airlift wing. Almost all of those would have come through the 99th, and they would have said the 99th has declined your request. But that's not who declined the request. It was the Presidential Airlift Group. Whoa. That just elevated the stakes. You know, you're playing in a card tournament, and at 10 o'clock, the ante doubles, right? And at 12 o'clock, the ante just doubled. And the ante just doubled. The price of poker just went up. This is no longer a Department of Defense operating on their own, coming up with something. This is coming from the White House. If they're not just BSing in this denial, if they didn't just get it wrong, and I have to think of 6 months of pulling records, 6 months of gathering documents, 6 months of evaluating whether or not to turn this stuff over, 6 months of a lawyer looking at them and deciding what to do, that they wouldn't cite the wrong department. They wouldn't cite the Presidential Airlift Group when they meant the 99th. You wouldn't make that error. I wouldn't think. I don't know how incompetent government is. Maybe they're idiots. Maybe the whole place is run by people with like a 67 IQ. I don't know. I don't think so. I would hope not. Might explain why we can't win wars anymore, but I mean, that's a different discussion altogether. But assuming that denial accurately reflects who it was that made the call, and it really was the Presidential Airlift Group, that implicates the White House military office. Has to. It's not the Secret Service. It's not the advance team. So it has to be the military office. Why is the White House military office at Fort Huachuca a day or two before Charlie dies? At a time when a witness says they spotted Erica Kirk there, and then Erica Kirk is at the Washington Hilton, and the White House military office sends out an email about Erica Kirk being there. This is a weird, I mean, like the odds of that happening to any other celebrity or any other public figure are astronomical. That the White House military office might be involved in 2 sightings of you or 2 citations about you in that short period of time. I think it lends credibility to the fact that that might have been her there. I'm not stating with certainty tonight that she was there. I'm not stating with certainty that it was the White House military office. I'm just saying by logical deduction, that seems to be the only rational explanation, is that the White House military office was conducting this flight, and they don't want to tell us what it was about. And because it came a day before Charlie Kirk died, and because it came a day after Erica Kirk was allegedly spotted in the area, we have to ask if that flight was related to the death of Charlie Kirk. And is that why you guys won't turn it over? Is this evidence of the dozens and dozens of people involved in the cover-up? We don't know the answer as we sit here tonight, but I feel like every day we get a little closer. I feel like every day we get one step closer. Who killed Charlie Kirk, how, and why? The how has taken some real steps forward this week. Candace Owens has done yeoman's work putting that together. She's building off of reporting from John Bray. She's building off of reporting that we've done in the past. She's building off reporting from Sam Parker. She's building off of reporting from a lot of really good people out there, part of the decentralized investigation. But this isn't a credit game. This is like we're trying to get to the answer. We're trying to get the interest of the public directed towards something. And to the extent she did that this week, that was an amazing lift. She did a good job. She should be commended. Really commended. She did it with a smile and a good attitude. It's hard to do. I can't always do that, guys. I fail in that. So who was on the plane? We don't know. Why was the plane there? We don't know. But now we have boundaries about why the plane could have been there. Now we have stakes in the ground, and the answer has to come from within those stakes. We're closing in on the answer of why that plane was there and whether or not it was related to Charlie Kirk's assassination. So I appreciate you joining me. If you like the program, hit the like button. If you are not subscribed, go ahead now and subscribe. I would be honored by you subscribing. If you want to support the program on a regular basis, don't want to think about it and just want to throw a tenner your humble host's way, you're more than welcome to join the show. Just go to the show homepage, click the join button. While you subscribe, click the down arrow. You can click all for the notifications. And anytime we go live, anytime we post anything, you will see that. I have now new help for the Clips channel. And the Clips channel is going to be active again. So if you are interested in it, I will put a banner up real quickly. You can go over there. I don't know if we put something up today or we'll put something up tomorrow, but the clips are really spectacular. I've seen some of the, I don't know where the banner is for the Clips channel. I've seen some really, really spectacular, I don't have one for the Clips channel apparently. I've seen some really, really spectacular previews of what's coming, what will be up in the next few days. So it's just, if you search Baron Coleman Clips, the logo looks just like the logo on this channel. It just has a yellow word Clips in it. and it's really going to be fun. We're going to be doing a lot of things over there. So you'll see a little summary each day, not a summary of the whole show, but a summary of one of the segments. Typically, every day or two that'll pop up. So if you've enjoyed the program, again, hit like. We will roll through some of your comments at this very time. Would there be a way to pull traffic cameras when they drove Charlie to the hospital, either by defense or maybe FOIA? Not sure how that works. Well, we've tried. And the answer's been no every time. If you have an idea, by all means, I encourage you to file anything you can think of. You're the absolute best of all. Well, that's not going to help me stay humble, ma'am. I'm doing my best over here to remain your humble host. That's not going to help any. You've been a beacon of hope during difficult times. My therapist appreciates you. Well, I appreciate your therapist. Although you might be stealing some of their business. That's okay. I'm cheaper. All you got to do is hit the play button. Hey, Baron, I love your podcast and your voice. Oh, now I'm self-conscious. I can listen to you for hours, unlike other podcasters. It's my birthday today, so could you please wish me a happy birthday? Thank you. Christ is King indeed. JKJ, happy birthday. Happy birthday. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's a really good birthday. And only because of the compliments. I kid. Between Candace and here, the rest feels like the Matrix. The community is the only thing that gives us hope. Toddlers aren't as easily tricked as the slop they're trying to pass off to the world. I agree with that. Your intro rocks. F the hater from yesterday. Oh, well. Say that way. That's kind of ugly. But that's okay. I agree. We are not. GTM on X says CK died. Small bullet near ear, hair moves. Debris equals evidence. Mike detonated in car. Swerving and legs hanging out. Bloody car, but not lots of it dripping as carried. Thoughts? I disagree with all that. Baron, keep up the great work. Has anyone actually seen Mikey since being exposed as Candace's source? He's referenced, but seemed to be out of the public's eye. Yes, he was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner with Erica. He's on video. God bless the 300,000 club. Jeff's family's in good hands. Oh, yes, my wife noticed that last night as we were getting ready to head to bed. She went, oh, and I was like, what? She does it too. She gasps the same way. You know how they say when people are married, they start acting like each other? She looks at her phone. She goes, oh, and I was like, what? And she's like, look. And it had crossed the 300,000 plateau. Unbelievable, guys. Absolutely unbelievable. Actually, took her son home from baseball last night. And 13-year-old kid. And he's an amazing young man. Got a lot on his shoulders now. Got a lot on his shoulders. 3 younger siblings and a mom. But I think he's up to the task. Does anyone know what happened to Charlie's lapel mic? No, that's the question of the week. That's the question of the week. I actually thought about, and I might do it for the member show. I thought about recording my whole show on the Rode mic. I can run it through the computer just like this mic. But I thought about putting that Rode mic on under my T-shirt and just running it through a T-shirt. But then I thought, I got to wear a hoodie, It's cold in here. For those who have questions about the exploding mic theory, the John Aaron Bray interview on Black Line Brief tonight should be a good show. Yeah, he's a good guy. I don't dislike John Aaron Bray at all. I've had some issues in the past with how certain he is sometimes of his theories because they change. And like you were super certain about that theory, and then it changed. He's like, no, now I'm certain about this one. And then it changes. He's like, no, now I'm certain about this one. And so I don't dislike him. I'm not a big fan of people who know they know. I'm a big fan of people who say, man, it sure looks like this. Here's a good explanation as far as I see it. Saw MKG at Deer Creek this weekend. Didn't know most songs, but what a performance. I've heard that. He's fun to listen to. I like working out to MKG. That's good workout music. It's not too hard. It's not too heavy. It's not too fast, but it's not too slow. It's good workout music. Deer Creek's a cool venue. I've been to concerts there. I saw Jimmy Buffett at Deer Creek. First super chat ever. I want to say thank you for being you. Number 1 in Tomball, Texas. Texas is a big place. Could be anywhere. But thank you for spending your first super chat with us here. I was right. Bull butter yellow. Yes, this is bull butter yellow. It is in fact. It is in fact. My B. Candace responded to my super chat on her show today. Moon Goddess, you're a celebrity. You're practically famous. You're practically famous. I can't know any other way to tell you. Reminder, you will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every barking dog. Churchill, Christ is king indeed. That's a good advice. I do that sometimes. I'm guilty of throwing stones at barking dogs. But Baron, you mentioned putative in your show a ways back. I've had my issues with that. And I sent the lovely Mrs. C my book, a memoir of denying my son's citizenship to the U.S. Horrific story. Also, day 13 for hubby. Worst is over. Christ is king indeed. Yeah, day 13, the worst is over. It'll get better. Interior designer, Utah, we got your book. I gave it to Mrs. Coleman. I got that book and a children's book that somebody sent from Mrs. Coleman as well. So we have both of those in our possession. So thank you. And I skimmed through it, believe it or not. In your ordeal, I don't want to give too much away, but you weren't very far away from the United States, but it was pretty scary. Any chance we will see our humble host providing maternity cover in the not too distant future? I haven't been asked. Last time I showed up somewhere I wasn't invited, I didn't have a very good time. Happy to report I got my Hold Please mug and RBP Baronisms t-shirt today. Woohoo! Feeling smarter already. Also love the new haircut. Yeah, I got a haircut today. I will say my barber is a huge Candace Owens fan. Huge. Like, was the subject of most of the discussion today. Big fan. Ben, you're the man. Quick, friendly check-in. Is Candace aware of the Butch Hibbs Road Mike angle yet? I think so, but I can bring it up. To her. Good call. Nice haircut, Baron. I'd still love to be Mrs. Coleman's hairstylist. Work in Franklin, and you took a photo of my IG name in the comments a few shows back. Well, do you know who Mrs. Coleman's current hairstylist is, Bree? Your humble host, believe it or not. She did, I think, recently get a haircut that wasn't from me. But I'm been known to cut my daughter's hairs and her hair, and I'm pretty good at it. Just line it up and right across the bottom and the back. You good to go, ma'am? Let me know if you need a new one. I'll be here when you need me. As of this time, who in the CK came would you most want to cross-examine, including TP feds, police, etc.? Or do they have to be honest? Is that part of the game? So this is an interesting question because you got to strategize. I like questions like this because you have to think. Because if you say Erica's obvious, but if you say Erica, you may limit yourself to only Erica. But you might be able to catch Erica and a few other people, pick them up in the same witness. I'm thinking Andrew Colvett, obviously. I think would be a good one. Yeah. If they have to be honest, I think Andrew would be a lot of fun. Washed your hair in hot water, it shrunk. Tight. Well, I did wash it in hot water. Only hot water. But that's not why it shrunk. For Super, I'm also prego with baby number 3. The prego! Digging the respect being demanded. Telling my kids, obey the prego. I only watched that, I think, like 21 times or something. It's only a minute and a half. And I watched it over and over, and I laughed every time. The prego. For the prego. Oh, man. First Super ever. Just wanted to say, as a cradle Christian, nearly turned liberal, you've made me step back into the light. Thank you. Saving people one at a time, ladies and gentlemen. Saving people one at a time. We almost lost her. Liberalism. If you keep this up, you're going to literally have to wear my cap and gown. I'm going to literally have to wear my cap and gown in the evenings. Or at least get some dress Vans for the couch. Well, that would probably work. You're smarter in Vans. I don't know if you knew that. When you say no sugars, does that include honey? And did you avoid alternative sweeteners? I avoid alternative sweeteners at all costs. I don't do sucralose, which is Splenda. I don't do saccharin. I don't do what's the blue one? Whatever it's called, Equal. I don't do any of those sweeteners. I don't do stevia. I think all of them have negative things associated with them. If anything, what they do is they trick the body because you taste a sweetness. Your brain assumes it's about to be inundated with sugar. And so it immediately starts sweeping the blood for sugar and carrying it away, which causes your blood sugar to plummet. Well, what happens when you get low blood sugar? That's right, class. You starve to death. You are just hangry. So you drink a Diet Coke and you end up eating too much because your blood sugar is artificially. And when your body sends out insulin to go grab your blood sugar and store it, it doesn't just get rid of it. It stores it as fat. So you could eat the same number of calories as someone else who doesn't participate in those things, and you will have a harder time losing weight, or you will gain weight when they're holding steady. That's my theory, and I think I'm right on it. No, it doesn't mean no honey. Like I add a little honey to my tea every day. What it means is, I'll give an example. There's a podcaster named Andrew Hiller. I like him. You guys he may not be your cup of tea. Hiller's a CrossFit podcaster. If you're not into CrossFit, you're not going to like him at all. But I enjoy watching his stuff. He used to be a fat kid. He's very in shape now. Very, very in shape. Very strong, very fit, high endurance, sub 6-minute mile, can squat 500, very strong guy, very fit guy. He once said, you make a choice. You make a choice. You either are or are not a fat cake-eating piece of poop, sugar honey iced tea. You either are or are not. And so he said, you go to the party, you go to a birthday party, and they say, here's a piece of cake. He said, you have this decision to make. Are you or are you not a fat cake-eating piece of? And if you're not, don't eat the cake. If you are, eat the cake, but understand who you are. And so what I think he's saying is you make a conscious decision of what you eat. It means, like, there's sugar in broccoli. It doesn't mean don't eat broccoli. It means don't eat things that are primarily purposed for sugar. Like if you add a little honey in tea, it's primarily purposed for tea. But if you go eat an 883 calorie breve from Starbucks, that's not primarily coffee. That's primarily a dessert with a little coffee sprinkled in. It might have the added benefit of a little caffeine, but it's primarily fat and sugar. And so make conscious decisions. Eat meat and vegetables. You're not going to get fat eating steak and broccoli. You're not going to get fat eating roast and carrots. Eat meat and vegetables. Some fruit. Nuts and seeds. So if you eat some macadamia nuts and some pistachios, you're not going to get fat. Some fruit, meaning throw a few apples in. Eat a handful of blueberries. Eat a peach. Get a thing of strawberries and put it down. Eat a banana. Though a banana is basically a candy bar with a peel. You got to keep that in mind. But you can eat them occasionally. Some fruit. Little starch, meaning you want a little side of potatoes. That's fine. Make it a little side of potatoes. Little starch. You want some rice with your gumbo? Throw a little rice in there, but don't make it a bowl of rice this big with a little gumbo drizzle on top. Little starch and no sugar, meaning don't eat the cake. Do not eat the donut. And you'll be fine. You'll be fine. No one's going to follow that diet plan and get fat. You don't have to have a diet. You'll be full, you'll be fine, and you're not going to get fat. I hope that answers your question. Chicken adobo for dinner. It was great. That is all. That sounds good. Sounds good. Off for summer. Still reporting for class each episode and going back to basics. Edge. Thank you for letting us know. Learning Daily. Home Depot founder Bernie Marcus offered $10 million grant to TPUSA to start a pro sandbox group. At Turning Point, Charlie Kirk, nope. Yeah, so I think we'll dig into that and things like that a little bit tomorrow. If I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken. We lost our mom 1 year ago after battling frontotemporal dementia for over 13 years, and husband's grandma passed away today. And looking forward to being with the jury all day to keep my mind busy. I'm sorry to hear that. That sounds like a tough year, Jenna, but both on the same day, huh? There's beauty in that. There's beauty in that. No, but thank you. Who's K? K is king. I'll assume that's some sort of Greek or something. Christ is king. Thank you. Thank you. One thing I'd really like to know is why aren't Charlie's precious parents speaking out? If not them, why not his sister? To either support those investigating or in support of his wife. Not a word. I can only speculate. And I've really come down to two reasons. One is they're just private people and don't want to get involved. I wouldn't fault them for that. Second reason is the mother has sole custody of the grandchildren. And if they ever want to see the grandchildren, getting on her bad side is not going to help their cause. And that would be enough for me as a grandparent to keep my mouth shut. Making a shirt. She burnt the toast. Yes, Christ is king indeed. That's why you're dead. Stop burning the toast. I'm kidding. Candace covering exploding mic and inconsistent witnesses. Shot in chest versus neck. Feels like a major shift. Undeniable fed up. Actually, tomorrow I have a follow-up on that video, the chest versus neck video. The girl who changed her story, I have a follow-up on that. So be sure to watch tomorrow night. That'll be interesting. Literally everything is inconsistent. Praying for protection and yours too. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. In the Testament of Solomon says, I don't give a damn. Archangel Michael gave Solomon a demon-subduing ring for the first temple of God of Israel. New York Post, 9/21. Charlie Kirk wears Charlie's blood-stained St. Michael pendant. You think she's a demon subduer or a demon? I can't tell which from that comment. But thank you. But Baron and Daisy, any update on finding the EK dribbling basketballs at pageant video? I've not come across it. I saw somebody sent me an email that said there were no talent competitions at her pageants, and that made a lot of sense to me. That resonated. My husband wants to know if the color of your hoodie is called Bull Butter. Officially, yeah. Christ is king indeed. It officially is. We named it that months ago. Your Majesty, King B. Yes. Will the car being sold, his clothes not being available to test, if they aren't, be a problem for the prosecution? Can everything you talk about in opening statement be used by defense? Well, it'll be up to the judge. Trial judges have a lot of discretion for how to handle a trial. I don't know because did the state it's the state of Utah versus Charlie Kirk. Did the state get rid of the shirt? Did the state get rid of the car? I don't know. That'll be interesting. I'll see how the judge handles that. I hope they raise it. Can you start a deep dive into TR's attorneys and the judge? I think they're all participants in this ruse. That's awfully cynical. I mean, I'm being honest. I do not believe I do not believe every defense attorney is a participant in this against Tyler. That doesn't mean none of them are. I don't know, but I think they've done an okay job. I really do. All the evidence you talked about Monday and said they won't be showing in the trial, will the jury at least be seeing all of it? Well, the evidence I talked about Monday is for the preliminary hearing. We don't know what they'll introduce at the trial. They're not bound by the preliminary hearing findings. So I don't know. Was there a fan under Charlie's chair on September 10? Love y'all. Christ is king. Yes. There was a fan on the platform under his chair. That's correct. I don't know why. I don't know if that was a normal thing he did or not. 3, donor Bob Shillman says, Edge told Dinesh that he gave between $2 to $5 million a year and cut because of Tucker and Candace. They're concerned they would negatively influence Charlie to be a Juice hater. Candace owes everything to Juice, Horowitz, Prager, and Shapiro. Well, we will be talking about Shillman tomorrow. So if you want to learn more about Shillman, tune in tomorrow. There's something interesting about Bob Shillman we'll talk about tomorrow. So be sure to tune in. You and Candace had this solved. Someone should call CPS my Erica because she's crazy and she should not be with kids. She's out of her bloody mind. I hope Charlie's parents have the children. Maybe they do, and that's why they're so quiet. Love you, Baron. First, Colleen, thank you. Very generous. I don't think the parents have the children all the time, but I do think they see them regularly. I think Charlie's parents are not wholly satisfied with their relationship with Erica. I think I can say that. I can confidently say that. But I don't think they hate her or dislike her. I don't have evidence of that. I just don't understand how anyone can live with themselves and how so many people involved can stay quiet. I will never understand. Christ is King. You're amazing, B. Thank you. So let me go to that. Why people involved can stay quiet. This is not the only crime in the history of mankind where people are involved in a crime and stay quiet. Think of mafia. It happens every day. The mafia will kill dozens or hundreds of people. Think of Mexican gangs. Think of inner city gangs. Think of serial killers. Think of warlords who carry out undercover missions where they assassinate people and don't tell anybody, or they poison people. You either do or don't believe in a just God. And if you don't, this world is all there is. So it really doesn't matter for those people whether you live or die. You're just like a bug on a windshield. You're in the way. You got in the way through no fault of the driver, and now you had to die. That's the way they look at you. And we like to think that's rare. It is not. And as religion plummets around the world, it is increasingly common. It's getting worse, not better. Is it true that TR has physical disability that affects one side of his body? I've heard that. I don't know. I've not seen his medical records nor heard from anyone. I know someone who might know, though. Let me send a quick text. That's a good question. Oh, I don't have that. I'll do it after the show. That's a really good. Let me take a picture of that. That's a really good question. And I think I have someone who would know. Evening. That was me tipping my cap. Evening. Watch every episode. My husband loves you. 2, brother-in-law died May 9, stage 4 melanoma. He was 36, otherwise very healthy. Unsure if he's at peace, but believers can intercede on their behalf. Rekindled lost relationship with sister. Christ is King indeed. That's good news. Rekindling the relationship. Your husband sounds amazing. I mean, so we got some good news, and then in the middle we got some bad stuff sandwiched. Sorry you lost your brother. I'm sorry you lost your brother. And we should pray for the repose of his soul. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So I meant to say the need to call CPS on Erica because Child Protection Services should get involved and get those kids away from her. She's crazy. I love you, man. That's your decision. That's your opinion. Excuse me. Your opinion. But thank you. Thank you, Colleen. I vote playing cards in the merch shop with hold, please. Oh. I'll let you know. Julie, thank you. I felt it in my soul, says Tactical Radish. I don't know what a tactical radish is. Frankly, scared to find out. My summa cum laude destiny was downloading. Cap and gown have been ready like they're waiting for their shift to start. Just needed a humble host to stop gatekeeping the date. Thank you for all the legendary content you do. Wow, Tactical Radish. I need you to follow me around and boost me during the day. When I get a little overwhelmed with all the research and think, how am I going to put this into a show? And then we, trying to distill it into an outline. And I got all these thoughts swimming around in my head. How am I going to say this? How am I going to say that? How am I going to open? What's the transition? Which story goes first? What's the opening going to be? I need Tactical Radish in the background. I need Tactical Radish. A nice haircut, my humble host. You should try a drop fade. My opinion. That right there is saying you don't like the haircut. That is saying you don't like the hair. What is a drop fade? Oh, that's where it goes down in the back? That's a teenage thing. I'm too old for that business. That's like what my kids would have. Here, Brian Harpole has a great idea for an action movie called With Friends Like These, starring Brian Harpole. Well, don't get us sued. Humble host, now that Candace is exploring the exploding mic, may I suggest a live stream collab with Candace to discuss things that make sense now list, police radio. She read a super chat about it today and more. Would be epic and bring this theory more attention. Well, I think the theory needs to be evaluated. I think there's something happened under the shirt. And it looks like there's pieces of exploded microphone in the car. Like that right there is a reason this needs to be fleshed out. Let's get this to as many people as possible. Maybe there's some like exploding mic engineer out there that's done this before. I don't know. Hopefully not. Hopefully not in live action. Having a nice steak dinner as if he intended it to be his last meal. Yeah, I don't know. They've been told to meet at the steakhouse. You know? Edge 4 flank cleared to return to SUV. Found bag with seat under CK. Upon lifting, the chain that CK wore with cross and medallion fell off. If bag was under CK, it'll be bloody and possibly have residue. Where is it? Well, I don't know, but he tried to pass off his that was Frank. No, I think Frank was Frank the one that said he told someone to throw all his stuff out so Erica wouldn't see it, which is weird. Again, man, things that never happened. Mrs. Coleman, mind your toast, ma'am. Well, she's lucky. I don't eat bread. I don't eat bread, so she's safe. You're good, honey. Yeah, you're fine. No, she's fine. If your humble host ever takes up a bread addiction, we'll talk. My favorite opening statement so far. Wow. Christ is King. God bless you and jury. Well, that one was so long I didn't edit it. I just wrote it. Normally I write it. I go back. I think about it. I go walk around a little bit, work on some other stuff, come back, look at it again. Drives Daisy crazy because she's wanting to talk about content. And I'm like, I got to edit my opening one more time. It's almost done. She's like, would you stop? It's fine. Let's just go. I'm like, no, it's not right. It's not perfect. I didn't do that today. I just vomited on a piece of paper and walked away. Well, vomited on a screen. In my opinion, TPUSA, 1, U.S. government and Israel government planned this before war with Iran, along with his donors. Yeah, sounds like you've been watching the show. Who connected Bill Montgomery and Charlie, followed by Erica and Charlie? Was it Cabot Phillips, Charlie's friend and Erica's ex? Well, I've been asking that question, Dom, for a long time. I've been asking that question for a very long time because Bill Montgomery showed up. He's 72 years old. He shows up on a college campus to watch a high school kid give a speech to college kids. Well, right there, they should have called the police. But they didn't. Instead, he walks up to him and said, "You can't go to college." Now, you can believe that story, or you can think it's a little bit like our first date was at Bill's Burgers when it was really at a gym in Scottsdale weeks before. So I don't know the answer to that. I'm more concerned by the second one, believe it or not, who connected Erica and Charlie. I really feel like together we'll get to the bottom of this. Who, how, and why Charlie was murdered. Okay. We're getting close to answering those questions. Thanks for all you do, Brandon. I feel like we are. Thank you. That's very kind of you, Karen. I feel like we're getting close. 10-10. Best opening statement I've seen. Wow. You guys really like that opening, huh? Much more believable than any other theory. Agreed. Great synopsis opening. Well, hold on. I got to text my clips guy. Hold on. I got to text him real quick before I forget to. They love the opening tonight. All right. There you go. Sleeping with the enemy vibes. You guys remember, I can't think of his name right now. He was on Sports Center. Chris Berman. There was a guy that played sports when I was a kid named Eric Bieniemy, and he called him Eric Sleeping with Bieniemy. He had a nickname for all the players he liked. Eric Bieniemy. He's now a coach. It's like football coach. Yeah, he played. I don't remember who he played for back in the day. Yeah. Okay. Former running back. Yeah. Eric Bieniemy, but he called him Eric Sleeping with Bieniemy. That reminds me of that every time I hear that. That was a cool movie too. Was that Julia Roberts? Some pretty woman. Retired RN of 33 years with 4 years in the ER. Most ludicrous thing BH said was he was calling out meds and essentially running code in ER. Bull butter. Oh, I blocked that a long time ago. I just don't think he's a decent person. Like, even if everything he said is true, I'm like, who does that? Who does that? Can you imagine? Like, let's say it's true. Can you imagine what the Interlagos, Interlagos is a race course in Brazil. Whatever the name of that hospital is. Interlagos is a cool course, by the way. Sao Paulo. It's one of my favorites to drive in the racing simulator. I love it. Whipping an F3 around Interlagos, man. Anyway, whatever the name, what's the name? Timpanogos. Can you imagine what the stat? Let's just assume for the sake of argument, Brian Harpo really did throw Charlie Kirk on a stretcher, start wheeling him through the ER, looking for an open room, wheeled him into the open room, jumped up on the stretcher, starts cutting his shirt off, barking orders. We need to drop 2 cc's of this, and we need 2 of these, and call me in the morning. We need 4, hammer knockers down here on line 3. We need 6 mLs of push stat. I obviously don't practice medicine, and I don't know any of that. And then he's like, defibrillators. We need the paddles. Clear. Can you imagine what they thought of that guy if that's true, if he was really doing that? I know what I would have thought of. Sir, banger of an opening statement. I'm sure I'm not alone in saying best one yet. Thank you. Well, thank you. You guys are so kind. A, you B, might be me, but it sounds like your mic clips the sound of your first microseconds and sentences after you make brief pauses. Yeah, work. Yeah, it does. And I can't help it. It's the way I got. I think it's the way I have the noise gate set up. It's the attack and release. But I like the way it sounds otherwise, so I'm leaving it alone because I don't want to screw it up. Frank Turek told MK he went to the hotel after the event, not the hospital. Do you think this might be a true statement? Frank Turek told Megyn Kelly he went to the hotel after the event, not the hospital. I don't think that's what he told her. You think this might be a true statement? I don't think that's what he told her. Maybe to change their clothes, change into scrubs, look like staff when they arrived at the hospital. No, he jumped in the car that went to the hospital. That would be ludicrous for him to have then left the hospital, go to the hotel, change into scrubs, come back to the hospital, burst into doors, kick the door in. Brian's home. Step aside, nurses. Step aside, staff. You and me, Daco. I can see him doing that. He's people that don't know their place. He's one of them. God bless Big B and my jury fam. Today was number 605. Hitting the like button. If you haven't yet, guys, hit that button. About to drop a membership per my own goal. If I super chat, drop 1. Good luck. Christ is King indeed. Raging Storm Cloud. That's very kind of you. Let me check the likes. Where are we on likes? Oh, we're in good shape. You guys have done well tonight. Thank you. Very kind of you. And there is the evidence for those that don't believe Raging. I believed him. I didn't need it. Baron, thank you for that opening statement. Anna Escobar, in my chat. I like Anna's stuff. She does good stuff. To move me to tears, you have launched a better defense of Tyler Robinson than anything we can hope to see in court. The guilty standard in the law. It matters. Christ is King indeed. If you've not checked out Anna Escobar's stuff, she does good work. Really good work. Hey, B, it's my birthday, and my birthday wish is to support your amazing show. Life has been so busy, I don't catch many lives, but I watch all the replays. Currently driving, but I will be kind and rewind when I get home. Van Allen radiation belt. I missed you. I have missed you. You were an integral part of our comment section when I only had like 10. Now we have a little longer comment section. You've disappeared on me. You've disappeared on me. Used to be like one of the 10 I read at the end of every show. Now I got people just doing drive-bys like Scott. Dom, I don't give a Dom. Also does good work. If you've not checked out her stuff, find her on all the podcasting platforms. Cabot equals boring compared to Tim Phillips. Dad, veteran, GOP operative with Enron and Bush admins via Century Strategies. He rallied Christian groups while Enron committed biggest corporate frauds, and Bush read that book. Yeah, Tim Phillips was a player back in the day. Wasn't he with AFP, Americans for Prosperity? Excellent opening statement. This will be very useful for sharing with those who have not been following the case. Thank you, sir. Sir, you may proceed. We'll get that clipped and put on the Clips channel. If you're not following, I think it's youtube.com/@BaronColemanClips. There's some other clips up there, but we haven't put one up in like 6 or 7 weeks. That will change in the near future, maybe as soon as tomorrow. Maybe change today. I'll have to look. Let me check. At Baron Coleman Clips. There it is. Yeah, so I haven't put something up in a while. But these are fun. This is a fun channel. And you can be one of the earliest subscribers to this channel. And this is an official Clips channel. So you can come here whenever you want and look at clips. And you can see all the things I watched today. Over in the corner. I guess it lines you up in reverse order of what you recently watched. Yeah. So, I guess episode 109 was the last thing we put up, and we're on 132. So it's been a little while, but you come here, Baron Coleman Clips, and we're going to start loading stuff up. This opening statement will make the Clips channel in the near future. I have a feeling. Did I answer? Did I read the whole thing? You may proceed. Oh, thank you. Humble host, Baron, broken ankle here. May I have a super mini pep talk? Thank you for all you do. Ronnie, you're going to be fine. You have to rehab it like it's your job. You can't take days off. You can take a rest day every now and then, maybe 1 or 2 a week, a rest day from rehab. But other than that, you got to rehab that bad boy. When I started, I had no mobility this way or this way. None. Like, he's like, lift your toes. And I'm like, I am. He's like, push them down. I'm like, I am. But now I got full range of motion. I can run. I can jump. I can have a good time. So you're going to be fine, Ronnie. You're going to be fine. It's going to take you 6 to 18 months, depending on how severe your injury is. You'll probably feel it at times for the rest of your life, but you'll be good. You'll be good. You'll have full range of motion. I trust me. Right here. Been there. My fear. Hearsay at prelim, propaganda, then TR gets neutralized before trial. No one would have to answer to all this. Prayers for you and your family, Gramps. Thank you. I have that same fear. I have that exact same fear. That's why I wish they would close the preliminary at this point. If they're going to allow the hearsay and they're going to allow this, just close it down. We don't need to see all of it. Very nice haircut. Thank you, Short Coin. Wow. I'll let my barber know. She'll be busy watching Candace, not your humble host. I got onto her about that. I'm just kidding. What the hell is up with Jay Hammer's last message to Charlie? We'll talk about that again tomorrow. We're going to do a little Josh hammering tomorrow. I hate to hammer you guys, but you know, the guy that looks like the count? 1, 2 times he texted public execution. 2. Yeah, that's Josh Hammer. That's him, unfortunately. I don't know what the hell's up with it. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Edge, Frank, CK followed Billy Graham approach to money. He didn't handle it, had no idea what came in and went out. Charlie Kirk must have suspected something. Well, that could have been part of it. It boggles my mind that anyone can believe Tyler did it. I feel for that poor young man. I do as well. Best opening statement to date. Everything you said is what I've been thinking. Lance set up Tyler, IMO. Makes the most sense. Christ is king indeed. Well, thank you. I think that's it's a kind compliment. I appreciate that. Widow here. BBB, Granddad. Best opening statement ever. And I've been here since Google Trends. Cap and gown here with me since I got my PhD. Going Mac, keep going, Max. Christ is king indeed. We will. We will. Sigue derecho. We will go. We're gonna keep going and forward on this thing. We're not no detours. We're full steam ahead. About the widow thing, man. My wife last night, she was reading an update from Jeff's wife. Yesterday was their anniversary. It's a tough day to have an anniversary. Yesterday was their anniversary, and she was reading an update about it. And Laura put up a nice little montage of photos with some music behind it. It was beautiful. I cried. And my wife is just bawling, boo-hooing. And totally unprompted by your humble host. Said something to the effect of, there's no way Erica loved Charlie. Man, when you see that loss up close, when you see how normal people handle that loss up close, it's tough to conclude anything else. It's just tough. It's tough to believe people grieve that way. With fireworks and leather pants and throwing merch and laughing on Zoom calls. It's just hard to believe. King Baron, we got to get Sean Ryan to say yes to accepting the bloody bag from Brian Harpole. It's one of the only things left that can physically be tested, IMO. Well, I don't think he will. I don't think he will. I think that ship has sailed. I think once you decline the gift, you can't call back 6 months later and say, on second thought, 30-6 was trapped in safe mode by Scope. I agree. It'll be really interesting to me if we get the pics back from the feds and it's not still on. Because that safety looked like it was on in the New York Post picture. I think it's a real problem for the prosecution. Humble host, excellent opening statement, but I wouldn't expect anything less from such a high IQ outfit. Keep digging. Number one from Westfield, PA. Thank you. I'm a Bongina. Not I'm a. IMO, in my opinion. Bongina stepped down after his part in cover-up. I don't know why Bongina stepped down. Hear ye, oh great podcaster B. We are your number one fan from History Trivia. Where's Cornwallis Cave? Love your show. Keep the truth coming. Christ is king indeed. I have no. Cornwallis Cave. Yorktown. It's in Yorktown. It's in Yorktown. Come on. Everyone knows that. Just north of Newport News. Yeah, that's Cornwallis Cave right there, right over at Colonial Williamsburg. Come on. Give me an easy one. Aby, did you hear about the 3 Israelis that rented a plane and got killed in a plane crash? It was last Saturday in Bowie, Maryland. All 3 were military-age men. Reminds me of the moving comps before 9/11. No, I didn't hear about that. I didn't hear about that at all. Where's Bowie, Maryland? Man, you guys are challenging my mapping. Bowie, Maryland. Oh, that's right there by Alexandria, huh? Interesting. Right on the other side of D.C. And I didn't hear about that. That's weird. Is the square in Butchie Hibbs' pocket the same size as the Rode mic? Can we measure? I did a show on that, non-kinky bink. I mean, it raises the question, is there a kinky binky? I did a show on that and went to the Walmart and found a Wrangler shirt that looked very similar to the one Butch was wearing. I took my handy dandy Milwaukee tape measure with me and measured out that the square would have been a little under 2 inches, which is precisely the same size as a Rode mic. I don't give a damn. Non-kosher use of the winking emoji. Erica's Instagram, March 4, 2019. I'm just here for the snow day. Tyler Boyer comments, "Snow, you're not." Erica responds, "Tyler Boyer, you snow the truth." Well, maybe it was snowing on March 4th. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume they're not talking about marching powder. Fiji water is owned by Zio billionaires. Oh, but it's so delicious. Wonderful CO, also wonderful pistachios and palm. Wonder if Bayer can point this. I will tell you, I did buy another brand of water yesterday. But I still have several of these left before I get to it. It's chilling in the fridge as we speak. I bought a little of that mountain water. We had it's expensive, but a commenter gave me a $50 super chat and said, "Go spend it on mountain water." And I did. I'm not going to, you tell me to do something, I'm going to do it. FOIA request for who ordered earth removal and why. We've already figured that out. We already have that. It was the, it came, well, no, okay, I'm sorry. We have the words of the paver guy who says that he was told from the contractor who was doing it that it came from the governor and the FBI. Then we have text messages from the school talking about getting the work done expeditiously. I don't think we have anything else. Wow, this opening is giving me chills and definitely one of the best. Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys are high on that opening. I was hoping you liked it because it was long. About Frank Turk and his frequent walks with Charlie Kirk. His home is near me in North Carolina. And of course, as a realtor, I looked it up. $1.5 million house for another faith leader, making bank and traveling to Arizona a lot. Who brought him into the inner circle? I don't know. I didn't know he lived in such a palatial space. That's a lot of house. I'm in the wrong business. The nonprofit people are killing it. Some of them. Our first son lost his first tooth. We're 90s kids. What's the going rate now? Has inflation hit the under pillow economy, or is the tooth fairy rate the same? Katie Bliss, we never did the tooth fairy. I don't think any of our kids got the tooth fairy visit. Hey, give him a buck. Give him a buck. Don't give him one of those Sacagawea coins either. Give him actual paper. Actual paper. I believe OGA killed him, but it doesn't make sense that TPUSA and his close friends would have prior knowledge and be involved. Your thoughts? Who's OGA? Oh, our greatest ally. It'd be hard to pull off without some help. My sis lives in Utah, watches your show faithfully. She says she tries to talk to people about CK as if it's too taboo to say anything. She said it's so weird, especially since it happened there. Christ is king indeed. Well, that's concerning because 12 people are going to have to figure it out. Thank you and God bless you. Thank you. Located in Colorado. Let me know if I can be of any help. I appreciate that, alpha female. Today's opening is a great recap to get people filled in. My folks are on a long road trip driving home, and I've insisted they watch today's show. Please welcome Tom and Terry to the High IQ outfit. Thanks, brother. Christ is king indeed. I know this isn't true, Tom and Terry, but when I hear those names, I picture a cat and a mouse. Oh, it's the kid in me. Also, El Paso, Fort Bliss is where the Heydays program is run out of, and Axel 10 and 90 were there. Maybe that's why Sam 702 had to stop there. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know the answer to that, but you are correct. That's where they flew in and out of. Me thinking, what to super chat? All I came up with is, it will grow back, Baron. But by the time I typed it out, I realized I liked it. Kristen, you don't like my hair? Did I get scalped? I told her to take it down short today. I told her the sides. It's kind of embarrassing. But I wear hearing aids, when I'm out and about. And the hair rubs on the microphone when it gets very long. So it helps to keep it really short. Or really long. But when it's kind of in between, it's like... I hear that all day. I don't like it. The people walking around where Charlie was sitting, would explosive possibly be on shoes? What about people in the front row? Handheld mic? Well, the handheld mic is encased in glass and transported around at fundraisers for TPUSA. Allegedly. I think it's probably in the trash, and that's a different SM58 if I had to guess. The shoes are interesting because a lot of people did traipse through that area. Edge. TP staff benefits from percentage of donations as suspected. Isn't that highly illegal for 501c3? How are they not shut down? I don't think they do. I've not heard that. Critical infrastructure equals paving over a crime scene and building data centers. Around 1535 of Candace Today, Harpo clip. I know he's got me. He's a brother. He's got the tattoo. Weird. Maybe worth looking into to better understand the questionables and dynamics between them. Yeah, I watched that episode. It's weird. Apparently, he makes his employees get some weird tattoo. Holy doo-doo. I forgot that Qureshi worked at DynCorp, which was acquired by Steve Feinberg at Department of War. It was clearly a military op. How do you and Candace get more eyes and ears on these details? Well, all I can do is say them. You guys have to spread them. Why we do a show in front of people. If not, it's just us talking to each other in a microphone. That's not as effective. Excellent summation, Mr. B. Oh, thank you. Summation. That's a nice word, Granny Manny. It's a $6 word. Well done on that intro, Baron. I think we should all point these questions out to the side that loves the Fed slop. Tuning in from Australia, deep in the pretend Southern Hemisphere. You still believe in a Southern Hemisphere? All right. If it was the mic, how the heck was the magnet still on, though? And so the magnet doesn't clip to the mic. That's a misnomer. I don't want to get up and get mine. But I'm going to. Can you guys give me like 1 second and I'll pull it out and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about? And yes, this is a different pair of gray Adidas pants. Okay. I buy a lot of the same stuff. You see this in my sweatshirt. Don't wear the same pants every day. It's gross. Okay. So this is the Rode Wireless Go 3, but it's the same type of magnetic clip setup here. Oh, yeah, this clip is. So the Rode mic comes in 3 pieces. You have 2 microphones, and then this is the receiver. This is what receives the signal. This is the microphone itself. This microphone can just be clipped on. It's got a little plastic clip right here. See this little plastic clip? Or you can use a magnet. If you use the magnet clips onto a binder here. Let me show you the actual right one. I've got 3 different ones, but I'll show you the one he was using. I think I will. No. So this magnet clips onto this holder right here, and this holder clips onto the microphone. And so the microphone could be destroyed and the magnet and the binder will remain on your shirt. And this could be destroyed. Does that make sense? I'll show you what I'm talking about. I want you to understand it. If I can get it on here. I should have prepped better. So this magnet will clip on like this. And this is what you'll see is this magnet. If the mic disappears, I can still clip this magnet on to my shirt even without the mic. It would still be here. See how the magnet's still there, but the mic is no longer there. There's no mic under here. It's just the magnet. This is gone. This is broken into tiny shards. A little projectile could have come out of any one of these little areas here, anywhere in this thing, and the magnet would remain right here. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question? That's how the magnet's still on? I appreciate you guys indulging me walking around and playing with microphones. I didn't expect to do that tonight, or I would have gotten this out already. These are really cool little tools. You can record into your phone and have really high quality audio. You can record into a computer and have really high quality audio. The interesting thing about this is, though, this microphone records locally. So it records in here. It will transmit to this transmitter that connects to your phone or your computer, but it's still recording here. So it's actually recording in two places. And so even if this connection is lost, you get too far away and you're no longer in contact with, these aren't in contact with each other. Like, for example, you get shoved in a car like a side of beef and driven away to a hospital at a high rate of speed. This is still recording if it's intact, which means TPUSA should still have this audio. This audio should be available. I think the defense should get a hold of it. Mr. Burt, Miss Nesser, you guys are watching. That's something you should get. You should get that audio. There's no way they deleted that. No way they deleted that audio. None. If they did, they're guilty as sin. I'll tell you that. I believe that with all my heart. This is part of my travel pack. I had to get into my little travel box in there. But yeah, so that answers the question. That's how the heck the magnet would still be on. Because the magnet and the magnet clasp is independent of the microphone. It just attaches to the microphone. But it's separate. It's a very strong magnet. Like it's tough to get it to pull apart. Very tough to get it to pull apart. Hug your loved ones. We never know when they will say goodbye for the last time. Thank God when he grants us more time with those we love. Every second is precious. Christ is king indeed. I love this community. Thank you, Helga Shabalaba Ding Dong. I'm sorry you're going through a tough spot. Is the source in danger? Should he come forward just to be out in public so maybe he's actually safer? Then again, Charlie Kirk was killed in broad daylight in front of a crowd, so there's that. I don't know that TPUSA knows who the source is. Well, I guess the FBI does, so maybe they do. I don't know if he's in danger or not. Haven't listened to you yet. Watching CO. She plays Brian Harpole description of treating CK in car to get to ER. Where did he get 36 feet of dressing for 4x4s to hemostatic 4x4s? Just happened to be laying around the car. Well, he had a medical bag with him. I don't know what all that is, though. I'm not a medical professional. I have no idea how big that stuff is. If CK team involved, why the roof access with police department? I don't know exactly what you're asking, but let me clarify. The roof access they got was to stand above Charlie Kirk's tent and make sure no one else was standing up there with them. That is the roof access the Orem police or the UVU police granted Charlie's team. And so if they're standing up there, they would be the only people who would be able to see the Losi Center roof because they have the elevated position and the line of sight. People to the right are blocked by the building. People to the left are blocked by the building. Only these people in this narrow range can see that roof. And that was blocked off at the request of TPUSA. Highly suspect that Dan Flood denied EK's promotion offer. Both Dan Flood and Mikey McCoy hold the key to blowing this wide open. For the sake of their souls, I pray they choose the truth with all the info coming to light. I agree. Beautification decisions are an urgent matter, apparently. Apparently. Advance team for 9-5 Memorial equals new in advance. 9-5 Memorial. I don't know what that means. Majesty, Fade, Fury, Grand Paps Baron. soon to achieve final form. Just wanted to direct your attention to the handle. I shall not ask, but take, sir. Oh, she stole it, or he stole it. Number one, Chicago high IQ fan. Gone, ladies and gentlemen. Did Harpole always carry ER supplies in car, or was this just a one-off? We know they refused medic help that was there. Did they take the same car to the ER they came in? Where did those bandages come from? Was that normal? All good questions. All good questions. I don't know. I'm half hour behind. Now that the FBI knows who Charlie sent the text to, can the FBI erase the text from the source's phone? Oh, I don't know. I'm not a hacker, code cracker, slacker. But Baron, what happened to your eye? Blink twice if it was our greatest ally. Is something wrong with my eye? Nothing? I didn't know anything was wrong with my eye. I get something in it. Apparently, I'm just ugly. Thank you for your work. My boss, I'm her assistant, works at PFA and went on the same trips as Twigs did. Such a small world. Oh. Amazing. It is a small world. But he found out about Butler and had threatened to release info since he was trying to figure that out. I'm behind, so if you mention this before I hear it, I'm sorry. No, I haven't mentioned that, and I don't know. I doubt it. I'd be from Lancashire. Take a look at TC today. Interview with JD Hall, 11023, brings dark meaning to Daddy's Home. Christ is king indeed. I know what you're talking about. The Daddy's Home, our greatest allies program, Daddy's Home. Appeal. Happy to assist. Jill of all trades. I might have our humble Daisy get in touch with you. Is this why Tucker quit Republican Party today? That wasn't today. That was a few days ago, but I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Everyone, don't forget tomorrow night at 6:30, Candace is collabing with Lionel Nation, and it's going to be great. Oh, sounds good. Sounds really good. Sounds fun. I like Lionel. Mind blown. Oh, thank you. Thank you. John Greenwald, Black Vault may be able to help you with the appeal. This is what he does, and he's excellent at it. Okay, thank you. Best opening, excellent. You should make a standalone recording of it. I'm working on it. Do you think EK would ever go on Tucker? No. I think she'd talk to Tucker. Why wouldn't she? I mean, he indicated he thought a lot of her, at least at one point. I wouldn't be surprised if they talked. She may not like how it goes, but at least she knows. Oh, dear Baron, this community you've built continues to amaze me. Well, thank you, Lizzie. You amaze me. We need you and Daisy to keep digging so badly. Our government is so deep into the Charlie Kirk assassination that they are freaking out, knowing you two are hot on their trail. Keep going, please. Oh, we're doing our best. We're doing our best. Thank you. Thank you. Very kind of you. What does it say? What does it say complete denial instead of just denial? I don't know why it seems unprofessional to me. I know they mean case closed, but complete seems unnecessary. Well, I agree. I guess they just mean it's not a partial denial. Don't come back asking for this or that. Like, just assume everything's denied. I don't know. You're the modern day Jim Garrison. Much courage. Didn't he die? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't want to die. Well, it looks like he lived a long life. Age 70. Why did I think he got killed? Maybe I'm wrong about that. Here's death. Oh, bedridden for some time with heart disease. Died in 92, survived by 5 children. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to die. Thank you. Did all those guys go to every event Charlie had? So why the whole staff that night? Well, your second question presupposes you know the answer to the first question. I don't think all those people went to every event Charlie had. And in fact, there's one guy who used to go to every event Charlie had who did not go, and that was Andrew Colvett. It's my understanding he used to go to a lot of his events. How convenient that they just merged our military with our greatest allies military, so now they can grant protection for the people and purpose of that flight. Well, that presupposes you know the reason for the flight. We're still trying to figure that out. How do we ever get closure or any sense of justice for this when the whole system is opposed to the truth coming out? And even if it does, they just give a big F you and move on. That's a good question. I think to the extent we can keep the conversation alive and force them. I mean, look at how many mistakes they've made in the last 9 months, how many stupid things they've done, open doors, said things, had to backtrack, change stories, get caught lying. I mean, this is, we're forcing their hand, and they're making a lot of mistakes. If the PAG said they previously distributed the info requested to the FOIA request, are you allowed to request who they gave it to? No, I don't think our information on our request. I think they mean similar types of information on previous flights, and no longer are they going to do that. I think that's how I interpreted it. Maybe if they've given it to someone else, I'd like to see it. I wonder if Harpole would let us know if those meds were given oral, sub-Q, or IV. Christ is king. Well, I hope not oral. In a hole in his neck. And supposedly was dead. Has anyone ever wondered if they actually brought Charlie to the hospital? Why has no one besides his entourage and Doc spoken out? I mean, the hospital wasn't empty, so where are the witnesses? All good questions. All excellent questions. And they took the tapes, so we can't find out. Great question. Baron, were there any unusual flights surrounding Butler, or has that been looked at? P.S. I have so much respect for the work you're doing, and I love our humble host. God bless you. Christ is indeed. I've looked at flights around Butler, but I don't know. I mean, I've not looked so carefully that I've tracked down every plane. I've just looked for obvious things. Daisy's super awesome as well. Great courage. Well, agreed. I think the source that text is amazing. Mikey McCoy is the only person I think has a conscience out of all the TP people close to Charlie. First super chat ever, by the way. Thank you for your work. Granddad. Well, part of protecting sources is neither confirming nor denying anything. That's not a confirmation that it was him. It's not a denial that it wasn't him. It's just, can't play that game. We're doomed. These demonic cops and feds are the enemy. Butler, PA, Route 91 Harvest Festival, Las Vegas, that injured 500 and killed 60 on 10/1/2017. Mass cover-up equals CK death. It's over for us. Well, your handle certainly fits your comment, but I don't know that I disagree with it, frankly. Allegedly, the future VP Erica Kirk, an emotional asset, could have had control of the plane. I don't think she had control of the plane. But it's an interesting data point. Karen is Sherlock, and you're Watson. I don't know enough about the Sherlock Holmes story to know whether to be flattered or offended. I'm going with flattered. Thank you. Is it possible DJT was made to believe CK betrayed him on the MA money deal? That was DJT going to blank her over, and that's how they got DJT to turn a cheek to this. And CK knew they were throwing him under the bus. Possible, sure. Guilt-ridden Dan Flood will be the first flip. Also, no one driving CK mentioned calling the hospital to let them know ETA. Sus, your thoughts? Christ is king indeed. Yeah, one of them said that they had called 911, but there are no corresponding 911 calls. And we do have a lot of 911 calls from it. You said Department of Defense, and my coworker and I almost fell out of our chairs. Couldn't have been more accurate. I didn't intend to say that, but if I said it, I said it. I bet you just can't shake that this was the M people. How many belong to that group? I only learned of them a few years ago. I'm a new grandmother and scared for our kids. I don't know. That's crazy. Could have been the blackmail that Philadelphia had on Charlie Kirk, and he knew he would be taken out if he turned on them. He said killed, not blackmailed. Call to EK by a VIP on 910, according to Andrew Colvett, where he said, I know everything. Was referring to the mission, possibly DJT or Vance. I'm pretty confident it was Trump. I mean, I think Tucker may have even said it was Trump or Candace, one of them. Somebody that I trust claimed that was Trump. I don't know if it was about the mission or I think it was a weird story. I don't know why Andrew told it. Regarding Charlie's SUV, 2 distinct characters seen on the rear quarter panel. Orientation would suggest scratched by the person hanging out of the door. I and S. Email sent to you with additional details. Christ is King. I and S. Hold, please. I'm going to look that up. I and S. I've not seen that. Are you seeing things that aren't there? All right, here we go. I see the S. I see a bunch of straight lines. Iron S. I don't know. I don't know. A lot of blood on that door, though. A lot more than you would have just on your hand shutting it, in my opinion. You accidentally con it. Department of Defense is the only way I'll refer to it now. Every time they open their mouth, it's poop. Best oops ever. I did not know I did that. Thank you guys for pointing that out. Baron, my sweet Haley Grace drew me a self-portrait of her today. In the drawing, she's wearing a shirt that says, I love Jesus. At the top, it says, Jesus loves you. Melted this mama's heart. Should have. That sounds beautiful. Haley Grace sounds like a keeper. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. YouTube wouldn't allow me to watch your live on my TV. We'll post a video on IG. Never heard of that happening. Baron, I love you. Have a fantastic evening. Oh, I love you more, Avery. You have a fantastic evening. It was Jack Posobiec. Who was? Talking about the text? Again, I'm not going to talk about that. Just a thought combining 2 theories. Could electrocution cause the mic to explode? Christ is King indeed. I've thought about could electrocution have been the trigger to whatever the boom was, whether it was a mic or a necklace, or could it have been both? Double whammy. I don't know. But I mean, his hand was clearly injured in the casket. Period. End of story. You go look at that hand in the casket, and he's got clear injuries on the hand, and the webbing in the hand, and a couple up here. And then you look at the video of him from behind, and he has black dots where those are, as if they're burns or impact injuries or something. I mean, it's the exact same spots. So I don't know. Jennifer, thank you. Keep on maxing. You should do a poll. Did evidence presented by me, Candace, others, and me, we'll fix that, change your mind away from Tyler? Yes or no? Christ is King. I'll ask that. That's a good question. Please wish my husband Samson a happy birthday. Samson, happy birthday, and I hope your hair looks as good as the other Samson. Pre-trim. How does this get resolved when everyone is at the top? Impeachment wouldn't begin to hold anyone accountable. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Funny flock for videos. Candace had excellent points today. Show regarding shirt, pants, all evidence. Surely all cards will fall before end of fiscal year 2027. That's a long way away. Thank you. As a lawyer, what part of the case concerns you the most and why? Tyler staying alive? Not taking a deal? I mean, the part that concerns me the most is if he showed up that day intending to be engaged in a crime, he has no incentive not to take a deal. That concerns me. I think the color of your hoodie tonight shall be called Bull Butter Yellow from now on. Guys, we named it that months ago. Months ago. Thank you for your continued hard work. Love your podcast. Great show tonight. I have no idea why I'm coughing so much tonight. I've got a tickle in a very specific spot right here. Thank you. Very kind of you. Opening statement right here. Wow, pure perfection. Go you good thing. Oh, I'm a good thing. Good thing. Good thing. Wasn't that a song? Yeah, it was. It was covered by Fine Young Cannibals. Not the original. The insistence on believing the Fed slap is the most compelling tell to me. Great opening. They dragged Charlie Kirk's body out because it was the evidence they had to cover up. That's correct. I believe that's correct. I absolutely believe that's covered. That's why they didn't care about his neck. They didn't care about his head. They didn't care about the wound. They didn't care about the blood. It was just get him out of here where we have control of his body. I believe that. I believe that. I believe that. Would Charlie's shoes or jeans have any evidence, or just the shirt? Is it in evidence? I don't know the answer to either question. I would think so. I don't know about is it in evidence. I would think it would have evidence if it existed. But Baron, are you saying because these weekend G.I. Joes that are good at rolling through barrels and shooting targets should not shoo away paramedics and perform life-saving measures on their own? What I'm saying is what makes a good soldier and what makes a good security guard may not be the same. What makes a good cop and what makes a good security guard may not be the same. There might be some overlap, but there might be some key distinctions. Like, for example, if I'm going into war and I got to clear some houses, right? I got to kick down some doors. I'm looking for some bad guys. I want to take some soldiers. I want people who can roll through barrels and shoot guns. But if I'm going on a mission where I'm going to be speaking and I need somebody who can analyze the scene, be like a supercomputer. Maybe a meathead isn't the guy I'm looking for. Maybe I want Harold the computer programmer. Can we tie that photo of EK and her mom with the military officer to what you discussed tonight? The one where EK's mom had the officer's patch on her sweater? 68. I don't think they can tie that guy. No, that was so long ago. TPUSA and Erica are terrified if they go into the Fed slap, they'll meet the same fate as CK. Sad times. I think everybody's scared of that. That's the problem. Please shout me out. Put a smile on my client's face. Hold on. Let me pull it down so they don't know. Hold on. Now get their attention. Ready? You know what? Just the other day I was thinking, you know what this podcast needs? Laura Marquez. Laura Marquez. We need more Laura Marquez. Where has she been? It's not the same without her. I'll tell you, it's just not the same without Laura Marquez. Why? Charlie calling for the U.S. to immediately cut funding to Israel until the public gets clear answers. I mean, that could be a why. The more we learn about the people surrounding Charlie, the more I fear he was incredibly lonely while being constantly in the presence of people. So heartbroken for him. Blackline Brief has been reviewing old footage. He is greatly missed. Christ is king indeed. That's a beautiful, beautiful comment. I think you're right. It's like there's some old country song about standing in the ocean and dying of thirst. Just because it looks like you're around somewhere that'll satisfy your thirst doesn't mean it will. Just because it looks like you're around a bunch of people that you shouldn't be lonely doesn't mean you aren't. The Department of Defense, did anyone else hear that? Oh, I gotta go check that. Did I say that? Oh, I gotta look into that. Sorry, guys. Just found out I'm pregnant. Oh, congrats, Hannah Doodle. I want to give you the chance to throw your hat in the ring for picking a name. We are looking for an M name. Chat chime in too, but if you know me, no, you don't. An M name? We don't have any of those in our house. Why is an M name? What's up with that? Baron's a good name. Baron's a great name. A good M name. You didn't say boy or girl, though. Like Mary's a great M name. I don't know. You got to tell me boy or girl. I don't know. Like, you can't have a boy named Sue, Johnny Cash wrote about that. Happy great show. If you had to make a guess who was on the plane, can't say I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I don't even begin to know. It's not who as much as the mission. What were they trying to accomplish? The who might be able to tell us that. But I don't know. I don't know. I wish I did. Sorry to violate your one rule. One of the best opening statements right next to your Easter opening statement. I was hooked the entire time. Christ is King. Papa Coleman, thank you. Very kind. I forgot about the Easter opening. That was it the Holy Monday opening? Work jokes. I hold up the entire sugar industry. Azúcar? Are we talking Spanish here? Azúcar? The entire sugar industry? I don't know what that means. Baron, One India YouTube reported that Ben Gvir was denied visiting visa to USA, Florida, for a friend's wedding. There was a reported threat on Trump that altered his travel plans to G7 safer way. I don't have any information on that. Could Erica's appointment to the Air Force Academy Board be her cover for working in with the White House military office? Also, that was my favorite opening statement yet. Christ is King indeed. Man, you guys make me feel like a good humble host. Make a humble host feel really nice. I don't think the Air Force Visitor Board had anything to do with it. If you're asking me, Christ is King indeed. I don't think so. My friend's son is going to UNC and wants to be a lawyer. They can't foot the bill. Do you know any law firms that help with tuition assistance for job placement? No, I do know. Is it for law school? Because if he's going to undergrad and wants to be a lawyer, he may change his mind in the next 4 years. If he's going to UNC for law school and can't foot the bill, tell him to look into tuition forgiveness programs. I had a friend who had like 6 figures of tuition forgiven from law school because he went and worked for, I think, the district attorney or public defender for like 10 years. You make every minimum payment, and it's based on a percentage of your income. That's a small amount, way less than you would normally be paying. Then you pay it for 10 straight years, and then that state forgives the rest of it because you basically done them a solid by showing up and doing that job. So that's something to look into. Figure out where he wants to live. Go ask, do they have a tuition forgiveness program for public servants? GBC, still working on the studio, but enjoyed a wonderful birthday this past weekend. Best gift, becoming a grandpa in December. Oh, that's amazing, Ivan. B, love the bull butter yellow hoodie, but it makes those grays pop. Love you, B dog. Ivan's the best at backhanded compliments. I didn't realize it had such an effect on the grays. My 5-year-old, I was with him yesterday, and we were at somebody's office, and the guy had a full beard of black, had like maybe 8 grays in his chin, but just other than that, just this beautiful colored beard, right? And it was clear it wasn't like Clairol. It was just beautiful beard, that natural color. And my son says, Daddy, he's got a beard like you, but yours is gray. I was like, all right, kid. All right. You got like 5 minutes of life left. What do you want your last meal to be? No, I kid. It was funny. He's a good kid. Happy, love your haircut. Looks grand. Your number 1 and 1.5 fan from Tomball, Texas. Tomball. My CEO came to my naturalization ceremony as a surprise when my husband was out of state for work. A competent and truly caring leader can change the course of your life. Other CEOs talk about had orders after traumatic events. That's a beautiful story. And welcome home, Andy. Welcome home. We had an employee where I used to work who was naturalized while I worked there. And you could just tell how happy she was. Like, she loved it. I think she was from Bulgaria. Real sharp girl. Real sharp. I sent you $100 in a super chat and $50 super chat about 10 or 15 minutes into the show, and it's not there. But they took my money. It'll be in the. Is it because it was before the show started, Colleen? Because if so, it'll be there when I go through at the end of the night and I look at the super chats, and it'll be in there. Oh, please. I'll find it right now. We'll find this. We'll get to the bottom of this. There's a Colleen 50. So I meant to say they need to call CPS on air. I read that. And Colleen, you and Candace has this solved. Someone called CPS. I read both of those. They're both there. They're both there. You must have sent that before I read them. But yeah, they're both in there. Thank you. They did not take your money. DNF's arm gesture possibly signaled to brown shirt guy did exact same motion on his arm. Then right after brown shirt did same gesture to detonate, you guys cannot get over Rick Cutler. I don't know if he was involved or not. I really don't. But when I slow the footage down, it seems like he moves after it happens. It looks like he moves after it happens. So here's my best guess. This is my best guess, and I don't know if it's true or not. If something detonated under his shirt, which I think it did, I think it was something that was activated by some sort of energy that was shot at Charlie, like some sort of laser, some sort of energy deployment shot at him. That's what activated. But that's me. I'm old school. I don't know. No, I honestly don't know. Could have been a lift of the ground that caused some sort of electrical charge. Any number of things it could have been. But that's something I've been working on. And I think there's evidence in the Life is Driving video that happened. I'm not ready to get into that yet. If it was JD or even DJT, I would expect military jet coverage on the way there. Is there a way to check on that? Yeah. Should be. I mean, assuming they flew with an ADS-B on, there would be evidence. Does TR know he's a patsy and use as his defense? I don't know. I'm assuming he does. Helpful tip: if you cut your wife and girl's hair again, have them look down when you do it. I'm taking you at your word and not going to ask why. I'm not going to ask. $1 million a month to Jake Hoffman LLC for TPUSA government tracker. Is that true? He's making 12 millos a year? No. That's not possible. No. I'll look into it. Okay, I see you got the two chats. Whoops, I'm sorry. Go back, saying Christ is King of Devil. Colleen, I'm trying my best out here to do it right. Man, you're my hero. Just throwing that out there. Huge respect, Kristen. Thank you, Critter. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. I bear my dairy goats will kid in August, which means I'll be milking and soap making soon. I shall make you a special batch of unscented goat milk soap. It takes 8 weeks to cure, but you're worth it. Wow. I've never had anybody make goat milk soap in an unscented variety and send it my way. You'll be the first. Thank you. Found an archive description of the WHMO office oversees policy related to WHMO functions and Department of Defense assets. Assets. That word. Yeah. That word indeed. Amongst the top shows you've ever done all time. Wow. Baron, my grandson's name is Baron, named after the golden child of DJT. But when he is with me, I call him Baron. Could you and Candace be called witnesses or expert witnesses? No. We have no personal knowledge, nor am I an expert in anything. I can't imagine. Can you give the X space another chance? Because we can discuss things we're not allowed to talk about on YouTube. And then you talk about it on YouTube. Do you see what you're trying to do to me, Ashley Galadina? See what you're trying to do? You're going to get the hammer dropped on your humble host. Now, I'm not going to take the bait. Is JD's book on becoming Catholic real or not? Is that the one Tim Dillon was ball worshiping? Oh, you just said you saw an email. I'm still hope for me yet. Yeah, well, Michelle, I see a few. I don't see them all. But Baron, good evening. Can anyone possibly be charged for all or any of what should be evidence being tampered, taken, tossed? Yeah, they should. It's covered up a crime. I mean, Tyler Robinson's charged with that very thing. Evidence tampering. My grandma always told me that the bread wasn't done in the toaster until it was good and charred. Sometimes I burn mine just like hers, just to remember her. Christ is king indeed. The best toast, my friends, is made in the oven with a healthy dose of butter right in the middle, so it's crispy on the outsides and kind of ooey gooey in the middle. and you load it up with some all fruit jelly. None of that corn syrup business. No, 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 no. All fruit jelly. Load it up with some all fruit jelly, and then you fold it in half, and you get a little crunch on the outside, and you get that ooey gooey jelly filled center with a little buttery fat. I don't recommend it. It's not healthy, but it's better than a piece of cake, you know? It's got fruit in it. I'm shocked not one elected person in D.C. is discussing the incompetence of the Charlie Kirk investigation. They're screaming of fraud, wrong, elsewhere, so defeat. The opening was fire, and I believe that's what happened. I think that's what you meant to say. My liege cousin lost his wife after 42 years of marriage. Okay. Funeral service last Saturday. He said that he had cried every day for the last 38 days. EK has no sense of being lost without Charlie Kirk. That's kind of what Mrs. Coleman was saying last night. I think she's more torn up, or she seems to be, more torn up over the loss of her friend's husband than Erica seems to be over the loss of her own husband. I mean, over her own husband, it seems to be like, again, rocking out fireworks and Elvis suits. Weird, weird, weird. Barrister B, random. Need help understanding your profession. Why it would be difficult for federal judge clerk finding job in Nashville. Thought clerkship boosted CV, publication, law review. Thank you. Christ is king indeed. We are eaten up with law schools in Nashville. We have the University of Tennessee, University of Memphis. We got Vanderbilt, got Belmont. There's a lot of lawyers coming into Nashville every year. I'm sure there's more I'm not even thinking of. And it's a happening place. A lot of people trying to move here. When I got my license here, I'd been licensed in another state. When I first applied, I'd been licensed for 15 years in another state, 14 in a different state. And it still took like 2.5 years to process just because they were behind. So it's a lot of lawyers. It depends on what kind of job you're looking for, too. But no, federal clerkship typically helps. Typically helps. I wish you luck. I wish I had a legal job for you. I don't. Sarah with an H. What do you think would happen if you and Candace crack the case? These people seem to be protected, so you think they'll go down? Oh, do you think they'll go down? Trail can know. I don't know. I don't know. There are times I think there's still justice in the world. There are times I think there's not. Honestly, I hate to say this, but I think it depends on who wins the 2028 election. I think it has a lot to do with it. You follow paleo, WOE with CrossFit. No, I don't do paleo. I have a few times. Did Whole30 a few times. Not easy, but inflammation from autoimmunity went way down. Going back to paleo this week. Good luck. Good luck. I know that was like all the rage about 15 years ago with CrossFit. Everyone was doing paleo. But I think it's a good diet. I mean, it's a good, whole foods and limited carb intake. I mean, off the couch, off the carbs. There's a chance that Charlie's parents' family are actually grieving and are truly unaware of the conspiracies. It all depends on the bubble that surrounds them. I'm thankful for you and Candace every day. Thank you. Appreciate it. So are we painting that set dark green or not? You see how much stuff, you haven't even seen the rest of the place. You saw how much stuff was on my walls. That's honestly the biggest obstacle at this point. I don't want to pull it all down and have to put it all back up. Again, you see this much. You're seeing 20% of the room. You see all that stuff on the wall? My wife calls me a pack rat. I hang everything I have on a wall. I've got stuff all over here you can't see, all back here. I got a picture and a cross over the wall. I've got a little bitty piece of wall this big next to my closet over there. Boom, 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 boom. 4 things hung on that little wall. I've got, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. I wish I could show you. My B, stay max. Christ is king and Jesus loves you too. Thank you. Jesus loves you. Job, not for me. I sell drugs. Oh. It's not often people just come out and say that. Just hoping HH or grand jury have advice. For whom? For whom? I don't have any advice. Miss America, talent with talent, no swimsuit, fitness wear. Miss USA equals no talent, Skippy swimsuits. Explains EK to a T. Oops, that came out loud. Guys, can we be honest? She's a 6, maybe a 7. And in the certain light, sometimes when she brushes her hair, she's a 7. I don't know how she won the contest. Edge, could the ER have been notified and went with it because of who it was and who Brian was? Insane. I mean, anything's possible. Frank telling MK the hospital staff was beating on Charlie's chest. Really? Is that what he said? That's weird. Maybe they were. I know sometimes they do that thing where they get a knuckle and rub it up and down your sternum. Ah, you with me, sir? Come on, are you with me? Not me. I've never been in that position. Although I did kind of nod out on some paramedics. When I broke my ankle, back to the commenter who was talking about a broken ankle, it hurt like crap. It hurt. And I was laying there on the floor and I was I don't remember what I was doing, praying or something. And I was in just excruciating pain. Whole lower leg shattered, foot off the leg. It was bad. And it felt like someone was actively sawing. No matter there was like even just sitting there, it was awful. And when they move you, it just the foot just sort of dangled off the. Ugh. Anyway, they gave me fentanyl. I see why people get addicted to that. I mean, instantly I was like, sir, stay with us, stay with us. I stayed with him. But Baron, this show was fire. Please look up the speech from Bibi during September 2025 meeting with pro-Israel U.S. influencers at Israel's consulate, New York, Consul General, New York. He talks about their special weapon. You talking about social media? Money? Still holding out hope for Dan and Mikey. Yeah, you and me both, kid. Please put the reenactment of Harpole running a code on the Clips channel. Just woke the baby laughing so hard. Clear? Duly noted. Clip that. Duly noted. Thank you. No taxation without honest America First representation. Well, I got bad news for you. As an RN who's worked in the ER, your impression of Brian Harpole calling out meds was comedy gold. And yes, he's full of bull butter. No one is making it into the back and doing all that. Unreal, the lies on their side. Jesus is king indeed. No one thinks he was back there. No one really thinks he was back there. Lost my mom at 16. Freshman in high school. Formative years are hard, I bet. Anyone check where Shonda Rhimes was on 9/10? Because Brian's story is a scene straight out of Grey's Anatomy. I don't know who Shonda Rhimes is. I'm old. Please watch the video again where Frank Turk said he went to the hotel after the event. He never told MK he went to the hospital first. Well, I mean, he did go after the event. He just went to the hospital first. I don't know. I don't believe he told anyone he didn't go to the hospital. He was in the car that went to the hospital. The intel, I mean, I don't believe that's in his intent. He might have said those words, but I don't think he intended to say that. Internet provider or phone company can show which device the text came from. Wouldn't that be helpful? Oh, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Can it be fiddled with by intelligence companies? Another good question. Churchill's barking dogs are an ex overdosing on Fed slop. Great open, great show. Oh, you mean the ones we're not supposed to be throwing rocks at? Who throws a rock at a barking dog? That's cruel. Walk past. Also, Frank Turk said Charlie Kirk's parents were at hospital. Were they in town? Eventually. I think they got there, if I'm not mistaken, around 6 or 7, maybe? I don't know. I have to look at the time. Currently work. Listen to what I could. We'll watch later. By the way, love and prego Candace. Much love to you and your fan baron, your best AK supporter. Christ is king. You know you're the one that started all that, Tamma Love. You're the one that started it. Yeah, Candace is coming into her own. I told her that the other day. I was like, I don't know if you realize this, but you look great. You're having fun. You're smiling. You're laughing. You're giving good information. Like, you're not putting up with the bull doo doo. I mean, I did. I text her out of the blue and just said, I don't know if I know you get compliments from viewers, you get compliments in the comments, but not often in text from people that you talk to very regularly. You know, it feels good when you get them. So I wanted to pass one along because I believed it. I mean, she's been in her prime right now. Period. They're all lying sacks of bull butter. Yeah, that's correct. Evil knows no bounds. Agreed. First super chat, I'm just hopping on. Had to say congrats, Granddad. My daughter had her first baby when she was 19, barely, and I was 37. I had her when I was 18. Now I have 3 grandkids. Turned 47 yesterday. Sarah, congratulations, Granny. I hope you go by Grandma or Granny or something dope. I hope you go by like a classic name. I'm a big fan of classic names. Hey, Baron from Scotland. Who would investigate the FBI for their cover-ups over there in the U.S. of A? Love your show. Mon the Catholics. Christ is king indeed. Who investigates the FBI for their cover-ups? Well, they have an inspector general. I guess that would be the answer. But I don't know that they do much. and Congress has oversight authority. Imagine BH on top of CK during defibrillation. I think he said he got up there to prepare him for defibrillation because the hospital apparently didn't know what to do. I'll say this. If they convict Tyler, then our country as we know it is gone. It will be a communist country, not the constitutional republic we know and love. It all depends on what they convict him of. Let's hold out judgment. Let's see what the evidence is, but it depends on what they convict him of. Are we able to write TR in jail? Yeah, I think. I mean, I think you have to be on a list to call or visit, but I don't think you have to be on a list to write. I don't know, Utah. Prayer request. Follow up. My husband's back home. Continue prayers for our marriage, please. The devil certainly hates Catholic families, but we know Christ is king. Amber, I'm proud he's back home. I will pray for your marriage. We have been praying for your marriage. That's maybe why he's back home. How would you treat your dog if he came back home? How would you treat your dog? That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But if little Fido came running back home, I don't know your history. Don't judge me. I'm not judging you. Just offering friendly advice. You asked. Actually, you didn't ask. I'm giving you unsolicited friendly advice. You didn't ask. Amazing opening. Everyone should watch it, especially the Fed slop eaters. Maybe they will wisen up. I don't think they want to. That's the problem. Reminded me of the movie A Time to Kill with Matthew McConaughey. Closing statement he gave. So happy he can to have contributed to Jeff's family spectacular tonight. Thank you, and more thank you. I lost 90 pounds, and I can say that artificial sweeteners helped my sugar addiction. It doesn't taste the same, so I don't crave it. Everybody's different, though. Amazing opening, by the way. Love you. Christ is king indeed. Marzi, congratulations on that weight loss. I can only imagine how much better you feel. We need those involved to do more interviews. Just about every time they do, they get caught in more lies and give us breadcrumbs. Here for it, praying for justice for Charlie Kirk. I am a fan of their interviews. I watch them all. Well, I won't lie and tell you that. I watch as many as I can, as many as I know about and have time to watch. Didn't the paver guy say someone in the government, at least in Utah, ordered the paving project? Yeah, the governor. The governor. If so, can the specifics of that paving order be FOIA'd? Christ is king. Indeed, they've given out a lot. I don't know if we've gotten everything, but they've given out a lot. It is unbelievable no one from hospital leaked info by now, especially if they believe a cover-up going on. Info would spread even locally. NDAs. 5-star opening statement today. Thank you. Yeah, I'm a little shocked, frankly. A little shocked myself. Josh Hammer looking like the Count. So true. Do you need me to point? Do you need me to pull up a picture of the Count? Just so you guys can see. I mean, honestly. Tell me this isn't Josh Hammer. I'm being dead serious. I'm not kidding. This is not me making a joke. Honestly, tell me that's not Josh Hammer. Every time I see him, I'm expecting to go one, two. Every time. Every time. We'll talk about him tomorrow. How does one explain access to the ER area without credentials to gain entrance? One doesn't. One lies. Allegedly. Had PT missed chatting, but listen and still hate PT. Well, you're getting better at it, though, I'm sure. I chuckled today buying new sneakers for the kids. The oldest chose Adidas gum soles, and the toddler got a wide toe box. Your humble host is fashionable. I like the gum soles. Bear on my B. Thank you for being a light in so much darkness. How can so many people around Charlie be caught lying and still pretend anyone who's trying to find out what happened to him is evil? I don't know. I want to go back to this one for a second. There are a lot of people who have no idea what you're talking about. They weren't on that member show and they didn't hear about it. But what they get. Great job. Best opening statement. Wow. Well, thank you. That was very kind of you. We'll get that clipped up and out in a few days. It probably won't be tomorrow, but it'll be a few days. We'll get it out. Maybe over the weekend, Sunday, Monday. As a widow myself, I agree with your friend's wife. No way Erica loved Charlie. I mean, fireworks, sequin clothing, it's disgusting. Christ is King. By the way, great opening and discussion on the FOIA. Yeah, I was worried that we'd lose people on the FOIA, but you guys seem to love it. I was late today. Operate on ZST. Zach Costello time. But Baron, your haircut looks fresh as hell. It's hell fresh these days. I wasn't aware. But thank you. I love this community so much. Jeff's wife's words had me ugly crying. Christ is King, number one fan, Thousand Oaks. I don't know. You're competing with Rob McCoy there in Thousand Oaks. ZST is unpredictable. He's on island time. Utah is an OP state. Op state? Charlie was placed there on 910 because that place houses trained ops to accomplish Fed jobs. Everyone from next door neighbors, students, execs, business owners, law, ENF, judges, politicians, full trained ops, ready to go. I've heard that about Utah, Diane. And thank you, Diana. Thank you. Edge, CK brought Frank Turk in for his interview. Received a call from CK, a fan, asked him to mentor and help explain things on campuses. I would like to see where Frank Turk told that story while Charlie was alive. I'm sick of these new stories that pop up after Charlie's dead. I want to see where Frank Turk told that story while Charlie Kirk was alive, preferably in the presence of Charlie Kirk, or where Charlie Kirk told that story. My grandpa died, grandma's birthday, and their anniversary all in 1 week. Been 30 years. It's become a beautiful week to support and celebrate her for our family. She's 90 now. Pray it becomes something beautiful for Jeff's family, too. Thank you. Thank you, Tinfoil Mama. That's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing to marinate on. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry. 30 years. I'm sorry. If there's still any pain, I'm sorry you went through that. What do you think of the fact that Andrew Colvett recently spent 45 minutes on a call with Vinny from PBD Podcast explaining everything and convinced him the Aspen video wasn't AI, but won't do it with you or Candace? I think the question answers itself. If a witness's recorded testimony plays a vital role in establishing probable cause during preliminary hearing and the case moves forward due to testimony, what happens if that witness, I assume you're going to ask, doesn't testify at the trial, gets twigged? Does the case go back to establishing cause again, or is the witness now a saint and the law takes his testimony as God's word and the defense doesn't get to cross-examine? I've asked myself that same question, and I don't know the answer. I don't know if there's any Utah lawyer that can answer that question. I don't know. Can you lay the foundation of a probable cause determination on a witness who is unavailable at trial to testify? I don't know the answer. I'm assuming the answer is yes, because everything works against the defendant. Easy way to get rid of hats with residues. You don't have to explain inventory counters later why they're gone. Is to say they were stolen. Just a thought. Only a few were stolen. They weren't all stolen. I can't shake why Brian put Charlie in AMB. Why? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Baron, how many of us sent super chats for getting a bomb sniffing dog way back in the beginning? Me? And only if it could have happened. Great opening statement in chat today. Yeah. We weren't able to put it together. We'll put it down towards a good use. I didn't ask for that money for the bomb dog, by the way. You guys were volunteering it. We did look for bomb dogs and tried to get it done. I hope you didn't get that mic from Israel. No. Amazon. Amazon. Maybe I'll get a new one. Go to Best Buy. Membership polls, moon landing, flat earth. Yeah, those are great ones. We'll have fun on the member show. Y'all need to read into dislocation disorder, government mind control, Jesuit, SRA. Infiltrate every state, city, county. Read folly books. Mormons are a huge part of it. A part in Utah. DID, foundational to create cells and soldiers. You guys can cram a lot into a single comment. I heard Candace talking about that today. Dissociative disorder and government mind control. I've heard it. Why has no one ever mentioned the velocity of the blood splatter? That was my first rut row moment that said it couldn't be a pew-pew. I haven't thought about that part. Your opening statement explains the photo of TR smirking in his first photo. Never thought it was a smirk, but someone who knew he'd been played and played well, someone who knew he had been set up. Game recognizes game. Idea for an opening, the assassination of James Forrestal. A book by David Martin's an interesting read. James Forrestal. I'll look into it. I've never heard of it. I Baron, first comment, chat ever. I sent you an email yesterday that I felt could have interest. If you didn't see it, please do a quick search on my name. Subject includes Houston, I believe. You could have just told me there what it was. We would have saved ourselves a searchy search. 95 words per minute. Oh, you're a stud. That's cooking. I think anything over like 60 is cooking. Like that's it's not quite talking pace, but it's slow talking space. Slow talking pace. Despacio pace. Per Frank, yes, they took the same car to the ER where he left his bag upon exit of car upon arrival. Duly noted. But Baron, Christ is King, go back. Thank you. Have you checked out the Leah files? I have. She's been diving into TPUSA financials. I've been watching. She's pretty good at deep digging. I've noticed. She's effed and doesn't like what's going on with several things. Thanks as always, B. I don't know what she's effed means. Baron. Baron, thanks for asking for friends. Excuse me. Are you possibly engaged in any current attorney-client privilege bruh agreements? What's a bruh agreement? I don't know who K is. K is king. Am I engaged in the attorney-client privilege bruh agreements? I don't know what that means. I would love to answer your question. Critical infrastructure aligns with Mikey Ben's cyber finding. Mike Ben's cyber finding. Term cooked up to provide cover for the censorship apparatus to shape election strategies and label certain speech attacks on critical infrastructure. Oh. That's an interesting take. Thank you, Mag Kentucky Girl. I assume it's Kentucky Girl, not KY Girl. I wonder if the reason Charlie was angry on the 9th was because he found out Erica had left the kids and gone on an unplanned trip with friends while he was away. He just didn't know where. I don't know. That's a good question. Edge, thanks for your patience. Frank also said AK and wife arrived at hospital. MM sent a plane for EK. Duly noted. Thank you. Brian Harpole said he was getting rid of all the bloody belongings at the hospital so Erica wouldn't have to see it. Then offered to Sean Ryan a show for his memorabilia collection. Yeah, it's a good double whammy there. Yeah. Noticing and liking the medium high fade haircut. Yeah, that's what I asked for. Medium fade. Medium. There's a high up here. This is low down here. Medium. You and the principal have me hooked on both podcasts and now are part of my evening routine. Signed, loyal viewer and barbershop employee. Thank you, OG Karen. Thank you. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. And an expert witness. under Rule 702. I'm allowed to ask you hypotheticals. B, could CK have been poking too much regarding Butler and the White House had to neutralize before discovering some shady criminal? I keep thinking they're connected. Keep going between both that and our greatest ally. Go Max. Christ is king indeed. I doubt it was because he was poking, but that doesn't mean they're not related. GoFundMe money approaching your subscriber count, 300,000. Fantabulous. And thought-inducing opening. Thank you, my B. Christ is king indeed. Effective use of the word fantabulous there, madam. Yeah, 301. You guys are amazing. Amazing. I can assure you that. Hey, B, I worked as an ER trauma nurse for 39 years. Also was agency. So worked several different ERs. No way BH did any of that, even guarding the door. Not, it's all a lie. Christ is king indeed. Real DD, we knew that. We knew that. We were well aware. Impossible. MTG just reposted you. Baron is going places. What? I'll have to check this out for myself. We will get to the bottom of this. Oh, she did. That was from my in custody and Mirandized thing from a couple of days ago. Wait till she gets a load of the opening tonight. How did the mic do on the opposite side of the neck? Well, pull it back out. I'll show you. I don't think that's as big a problem as people make it out to be. So one of the things about these mics is they have a little heft. They got a little weight to them. Pull the magnet back off. Get it hooked back up. All right. So they've got a little heft. Meaning, Charlie is like me. I'm going to pull this down. He leans forward. Right? He leans forward. This might not be in exactly the right spot. Put it more over here. He leans forward. And when you lean forward, it pulls the shirt down. See? Pulls the shirt down. I don't think that's the problem. Because he even had his head down a little bit. I don't think the angle is the problem with the mic theory. And I'm not saying there's necessarily a problem with the mic theory. What I'm saying is, I think it is an open discussion. I think it's a live issue. I wouldn't say it's been solved. I would say it's very compelling that there are pieces of that mic in the back seat of the car. If you remember, the first night she showed those pictures, I had a panic attack. Not a panic attack, but I jumped up and down. Like I think that was the night I opened and said, I'm shooketh. I immediately said, I've got a whole show prepared, but we're going to scratch it for now. I've got to look at these pictures again. I pulled her show back up. I showed you those pictures, and then I pulled up ABS plastic. I pulled up and I showed you how plastic is brittle. This ABS plastic is brittle, and it can shatter. There's glass on these that can shatter. Like, I clocked that the second I saw this stuff in the floorboard. You had a problem on their hands. So the opposite side of the neck isn't a problem because when he leaned forward, he had a very loose shirt on. When he leaned forward, that shirt was hanging way out. I mean, that's just right there. That's not an issue. The people who are trying to make it an issue and they like say, well, you can't do that but they're sitting up like this. And they're like, well, that's not how he was. He was like this. And it goes right here. Like it was hanging down. I mean, it just right into the neck. So I don't think that's a problem, in my opinion. RBP Clips has me wondering how Joe is doing. I wonder often. I think of it all the time. Pray for Joe. Residue and defibrillator equals question marking orders to prevent. Equals bang. Barking orders to prevent. Oh, you're saying he might have. Yeah, I don't know about that. End of financial year. Year still fair. Did I say fiscal year, financial year, whatever? The same thing. Can't wait to watch opening statement. I can't start on Wednesdays until 8:30. Christ is king indeed. I had this conversation with a fellow podcaster today about how on Wednesday, we lose a little before the show starts because a few of our Protestant brethren are at church. BH's reference to Rick's tattoo gives me the chills. Felt like a sinister reference to their cult group. Someone should offer a reward for those hats. I tried to find some. Could the black dots on CK's hand be Sharpie marks from signing hats? No, because they weren't there immediately before the explosion. When my dad went into respiratory arrest, I wrote on ambulance and went into hospital that I actually worked at. They wouldn't even let me in while they worked on him. Well, that tells you a lot, Dee Dee. Dee Dee was what I called my blanket growing up, so I'm partial to you. When I was a little cub. I haven't found out the gender, so I guess either. Our daughter starts with M and wanted to keep the letter. Oh, that's fair. Well, when you know gender, get back to me, Hannah Doodle. I'd like to be in on this contest. I got some good M names. You know what Michael means? Like Michael the Archangel? Who is like God? That's what Michael is. Who is like God? Standing knee deep in a river, dying of thirst by Kathy Mattea from 1990s, I think. Wow. Yeah, I thought it was the ocean, but a river, yeah. Makes sense. Maybe it had doo-doo in it. Otherwise, just lean over and drink, girl. What are we waiting on? oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I remember that song. I would put it mid-90s, 94, 5, maybe 6. Maybe 6. All right, I'm looking at it. Kathy Mattea, knee deep in. There we go. 1993. I was wrong. I said 4, 5, or 6. It was 3. I take my L's when I earn them. In Australia, ASIO is all over the news here today, speaking on unprecedented terror attacks, warning linked to Iran. Also summoned Aus to develop more people weapon drones, etc. Blank Australia, allegedly. Crazy when Terrell was taking out the SD card, he wasn't concerned about a shooter. None of the staff were concerned. None of them seemed concerned in the immediate aftermath. Well, Blake did. He was juking and jiving, man. No one else was. Have you looked into the couple that was near student tent at UVU and heard the noise from the speaker? Found on X page, Matthew St. Baker. I like Matthew St. Baker's X page. He entertains me. I'll look at that. What if the mic went off and the magnet got caught on a necklace and made the giant hole in CK's neck look like an exit wound, and that's why CK's necklace flew in that direction? You rock, Baron. My major problem, honestly, with the exploding microphone theory being the sole thing that happened under the shirt is the action of the necklace. The necklace went bananas. Like bananas. Part 2, SUV, is that blood or primer? Did driver run into things? Mailbox, trash can. To knock out the person hanging halfway out the door, causing paint damage, revealing primer undercoat. It doesn't look like primer to me. Red. I've never seen red primer, but maybe I'm not very knowledgeable of primers. Regarding student loans, I've helped people get hundreds of thousands forgiven. I had 90,000 erased personally without working for AG for 10 years. Oh, that's Money Talks with James Rudder. He's famous. If you need student loan help, call him. He's a good kid. I've known him a long time. He's great. He's not a kid. He's as old as I am. He's a good old man. And he's got like 6 kids. He's one of us. Thank you for honoring Charlie. My 2-year-old daughter, Lacey, has battled osteomyelitis for 7 months, had 10 surgeries, and survived septic shock. Your podcast and many prayers got me through hospital nights. God bless. Go Max. Samantha, that sounds horrible. And I am so sorry to hear that. I cannot imagine how helpless that feels with a young child like that. I'm very sorry. What even causes osteomyelitis in a 7-month and a 2-year-old? She's going to be a strong little girl when she's done with this. She'll be ready to take on the world. Do you think Peter Thiel new project being used by feds? I don't know. Maybe. Planes are the communication system. They sit there and act as a communication hub. Maybe that's how they make structural claim. They're not our planes. That's not the plane we're talking about. Barron's with strength in numbers. Do you think if the IQ squad copies your filing and flood White House with FOIA request, maybe the 99th will let one slip through? No, I think they'll just get mass denied. Christ is king indeed, though. I do agree with that. Confused. If microphone exploded, it would no longer be recording, right? That's the only mic didn't explode. They would have it. So if the mic did explode, they would have it. So if no mic, the semi-proof it was mic. Yeah. That was my point. Release the recording. Also, early on, you noted CK appeared to brace himself before the Big Bang. Curious what you think now, just an auto-physical reaction to pre-boom energy, or Christ is king indeed. He might have been tired. He looked exhausted. You look through some of those Charles McClintock Wilson photos, and his eyes are barely open. Like, there are a couple times he's like this. Like, he looked exhausted. So he might have just been in between questions, just like, got 2 more hours of this? I lost so much inflation with carnival. Feels so good. Everyone is so different. Some do well on fruit and vegetables. I felt awful. Oh. I've heard people do, I think you mean inflammation. Or maybe you typed it and it just autocorrected. But I've heard good things about people who do carnivore. I want to try it. I've kind of tried it, but I kind of halfway tried it. But Baron, humble host, can you officially suggest to CO that she name the baby Charlie Increase? Increase would be a great name. Increase Farmer. Excuse me, guys, coming through. Increase is coming through. Back up. That would be awesome. Gosh, that's a low bar for beauty you have in the U.S. Well, I said a 6. What do you want me to call her? She's decidedly not a 5. Minnie, my baby girl needs a job. Great M name for the new mama. Asking, by the way, love this group. That's a good name. I'll allow that. Oh, you're saying your little girl is the one who was law review and federal clerkship and all that, and wanting to move to Nash Vegas. Yeah, keep trying. It's not hiring season, really. That's really more, well, I guess it is over the summer. Does the defense get a copy of all the evidence taken by the FBI, even if it's not being presented at trial, like the video they took from the ER? Obviously, if it's exculpatory in nature, or it goes towards mitigation for sentencing, yes, they get it. I don't know what would be on that tape that would go to either of those, though. I mean, I guess if he didn't go to the hospital, that's pretty solid. And that's exculpatory in nature. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it, though. Good call. Humble host, tonight's opening statement was Max. Thank you for all you do. Thank you. Surely open door transport, Charlie Kirk would break leg ankle. I think it mattered at that point. I don't think it much mattered at that point. Happy for Super sent email regarding landfill grid system and garbage routes to solve cases. If any SUV materials are closed or taken thrown away, could be an angle. Very least an interesting opening statement one day. Go Max. Wow, Tara, that is an interesting angle. That is a very interesting angle. Thank you. Thank you, Wiley. Wiley? I knew a guy named Wiley. Dead now. Hope you fare better. As a widow, what you see your precious friend going through with babies, losing her husband, is all I can understand. Grief of a spouse. I can't comprehend Erica grief for the life of me. I can't either. Could he have been taken down in their vehicle? Yes. That was one of my original theories. Kind of still is. Adding to the comment at Constitutional Republic, the trial courts are not constitutional. Article 3, judicial power, courts, an illusion many are unaware of. Christ is king indeed. Well, Article 3 says that the Congress has the ability to establish district courts and their jurisdiction. So I don't know what the problem is. I think it says something like as many district courts as whatever. I'm not going to sit here and read the whole thing. Well, that's not long. Yeah. Judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as the Congress may from time to time ordain and establish. The judges, both of the Supreme and inferior courts, shall hold their offices during good behavior and shall, at stated times, receive for their services a compensation which shall not be diminished during their continuance in office. So if they have vested judicial power in one Supreme Court, which we have, and in such inferior courts as they from time to time ordain and establish, well, the Congress has ordained and established the circuit and district court system. I don't know what the problem is. Hey, Baron, can you please say hello to my daughter, Kaylee? She's 4 and loves dancing your song. Kaylee, keep dancing. Kaylee, keep dancing. It's the key. The key. Just Grandma. First looked at me, head was only out. Oh. You just became a grandma? You're typing as the head is out? Put your phone away, man. Enjoy the moment. Just got done at my son's baseball game and shocked you're still alive. Can't wait to listen. We appreciate you. Why would you be shocked? Your humble host is cooking. Let him cook. Oops, and X-Fed. Who? Bubba Baron using my member freebie for first super chat. Can I get a roll tide? Roll tide. I mean, you asked. My mother-in-law took her own life. Please pray. Oh my goodness. Real mama bear. That is tragic. I am so sorry to hear that. Pray for the repose of your mother-in-law's soul for sure. And your family. Oh my gosh. So sorry to hear that. Made me spit water out. Can't seem to get through a show without doing that yet. Count Josh. I'm no celeb and I missed your response. Chat informed me. You are a celebrity. You're on Candace Owens' show. I wonder if the eventual jurors were also in the Google Trend searches. Christ is king indeed. Will be interesting to see if they show up when the time comes. Oh, MTG reposted you, my hometown rep. My mother and daughter and grandchildren live there, Dalton, Georgia. I love her. We're both paying attention. Cynthia. She's here for it. Cynthia's here for it. Thank you. Member show equal tour of office. I'd have to clean up a little bit. I'm just kidding. It's pretty clean in here. Yeah, maybe. I've done it before. If you go back to old shows, but it does not look the same. Bravo Counselor's Superb Courtroom win is on its way. Oh. What did Frank Turk mean with private time with CK's body? Shh. Hands behind his back, right? I don't know what that means. Possible he was alive going in a truck and was paralyzed and finished off on the way to hospital. You can't treat autopsy with how much lying took place. Can't trust autopsy with how much lying took place. Well, I can't trust the autopsy with the fact that the medical examiner's name is in the Google Trend searches overseas. I mean, I'm sorry. And she was just a point. I cannot. I'm sorry. And I hate that I feel that way. And I hate that I'm that cynical. And I hate that this show's over. But it is. Guys, we've made it to the end of another fantastic broadcast. Be proud of yourselves. You've stuck it out this whole time. If you like the show, give it a like. If you like what you see here, feel free to subscribe. I'll be back live tomorrow night. We'll be doing a member show on Friday. We'll have a lot of fun. Do some more polls. That was fun. I really enjoyed that. I do have a pending offer to a guest that I really, really, really want to have on. If that guest gets back to me, we will do that instead. But short of that, we're going to have a grand old time. The member shows can go anywhere. I had some suggestions of some weirdnesses, some weird trails we could go down. Maybe we'll do that as well. But I will be back mañana. And, don't forget. You. Where are you? Right there. I see. Right. You right there. You. Don't forget. Jesus loves you. I knew you guys knew that. I knew you knew that, but now you know for sure. And have a wonderful evening, night, morning, afternoon, wherever you have to catch this. If you want to catch a replay, Spotify is fun. catch a replay on YouTube. I don't know what else to tell you. Have a wonderful evening, guys, and we will see you very soon.